Welcome to the Intoxicated Podcast, a weekly comedy talk show that dives into the personal lives of comedians, experts, and creators. I'm your host, Sarah McClellan, a very amateur stand-up comedian and self-proclaimed sad girl. It's the comedy podcast with a lot of heart. Feel hard and talk hard. This is the Intoxicated Podcast.
Yeah. I miss the YouTube days because I still fucking love YouTube.
Oh, it's what I watch the most, I think, of.
What kind of YouTube?
Oh, it's wide and varied. I love like it depends on the mood. You know what I mean? Like I love like a mechanical, like a machining video.
Okay, like how to make things?
Yeah. Like I make stuff. I'm a carpenter, I would say, and like a builder. I make things in the art galleries, and so like I like to just diversify that knowledge. But then I also will watch a 4-hour interrogation, because I'm mentally well and feeling good.
So you go down the trains. You're just like me.
Yeah.
Just like me. Also, you're the second person in 2 weeks, in like the last week or so, to mention interrogation videos. And, or was it you? Did we talk on Instagram about? No, we didn't. We didn't talk about interrogation videos via Instagram DM.
I don't think so.
That must have been somebody else on Instagram. But someone else also mentioned, oh yeah, this comic Brad who moved to New York.
Right.
But he mentioned that him and his girlfriend like obsessively watch interrogation videos.
Yeah, well, when you can just be okay with like letting go of the narrative of true crime and just really digging into like the in real time meat of the boringness of it.
Yes.
It's it's an interesting journey.
That's so true.
But I don't know if I'd recommend, but if you're already on that train, I mean,
I'm on that train.
Yeah.
So I used to love My Favorite Murder, the true crime podcast. And I had to stop because it was playing too much into my anxieties.
Yeah.
Because ever since I was a little kid, I always was scared of people breaking into my room. Because I had night terrors as a kid and I still have them as an adult.
Right.
I wake up screaming.
It's
not a normal thing.
Life's crazy. It's totally normal.
No, it's not. It's not for an adult to have. So I have a. I record my sleep every night.
Right.
I have an app that I literally record most nights. Like I'll miss a night here and there.
Yeah.
But like
You should release an album of this.
Oh my god! I was thinking about applying to Sick Boy. To talk about night terrors.
Right. This feels like some kind of experimental comedy album that I would definitely listen to.
I mean, I could play you some of them. They're fucking so weird.
No doubt.
They're so weird what I say. And a lot of times it's, what's going on? What's going on? That's what
Sleep. Yeah.
Like, it's just like, okay, metaphor for life.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing even in my sleep.
I feel like people think I'm more on this train. I don't know. I'm a paranoid guy. I'm an very anxious person. I think it's healthy to be like, I don't really know what's happening.
Good.
And I don't trust it.
Embrace chaos.
Yeah, because it's there. Everyone else is just like, everything's fine. I'm like, it's not.
It's not, but you have to be okay with it not being.
Exactly.
That's why I love anything based around the world ending. Which seems strange as an anxious person to love that. But the reason I like it is because it's a unified experience. We're all in this together. It's not just me dying.
Right.
We're all dying together. Even like the happy couples in love are dying. So why?
Thank God.
So why?
About time.
So why, if we're all going to die, we all end up in the ground or in flames or wherever we go, why are we all like, we can't help any of this.
Yeah.
We literally have no control.
Yeah. This is kind of the place I'm trying to be lately.
Just in it.
Just like, it is what it is.
Yes.
And also like trying to make that, because I'm generally a relatively pessimistic person.
Love that. So am I.
And I think that's the right way to be. but I also acknowledge it's not always the most useful for like a functional person.
No, but you want to know what? We're usually right.
You're not telling me. You're not telling me anything I don't already know.
If I wasn't right all the time, I would lighten up.
Hey, but then with that, it's just kind of like, you know what? What I can control is my little wedge of the world, my little life, and I can focus on making that as nice for me and my friends as possible.
Yeah.
For however long that is.
Oh my God, exactly.
Because the last few years made me feel quite powerless. Not to be that person, but I did.
Absolutely.
And it continues to. And so I'm just trying to be a little more live and let live, a little more, vibing on my own.
Go with the flow.
Go with the flow, because the flow is the only way to go. The flow's gonna go whether you're going or not.
Go with the flow, because the flow's gonna go.
I mean, there's a t-shirt for you.
I've been recording, so I think we have to formally introduce you.
Okay.
Because we've already talked about our anxieties and the end of the world, so it's time to get into
just the boilerplate stuff.
I love a cold open.
Yeah.
I do this all the time with the podcast. I'll start it at because the preamble is what I love. The preamble. Mm-hmm. I love the preamble and so I work in podcasting too, and I record people who are nervous to be on mic.
Yeah.
And when they don't know they're being recorded, is when the gold comes out.
I used to do photography when I was, early 20s art student.
Yeah.
And by art student I mean I had friends who were art students. I was not an art student. I had to get a practical job.
Close enough.
Which is where I'm at now. But I used to do I used to do these photo projects that were like portraits, and I would just wait a really long time before I took the photos.
Yeah.
Because I wanted like a natural kind of moment with someone, which sounds like so eye-rolly and contrived, but it's like, I think that's, when we're talking about art making, that's what I wanted to do.
And some people, I mean, most people, me included, so uncomfortable.
Oh, totally.
In front of a camera or being drawn or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I don't know I guess models would be just instantly ready, but you're right. You have to give it some time. And did you talk to the people? Well,
yeah. Because it was mostly portraitures of friends.
Yeah.
So we'd just be nice. Chatting.
Yeah.
And it's back when I shot film, obviously. And so it's not the same as shooting a digital photo. You can take 100 and it doesn't really matter.
Right.
I was cheap and I was like, we're taking 3 of these. So,
we better get them right.
One of them's got to be good.
It's quality over quantity, baby.
Exactly. So we got to get the quality. Yeah.
That's
fucking funny. So I totally get it.
Yeah, that's so fucking funny. Everybody, this is exciting. I'm excited for this. You might remember this voice here with me today, and you might have seen this person if you watched the YouTube video. But I'm here with a very special guest, very funny comedian, artistic guy all around, illustrator, filmmaker.
Oh, yeah.
The list goes on and on. Mr. Adam MYATT.
Hello.
Thanks for being here in studio, not in front of a crowd this time.
Thanks for having me. In a contained small room is where I thrive. The less people, the better. So less people, the better, not the butter. Trying to recalibrate my brain to speak to a human.
Right. But so Adam was my guest for the InTalksicated live show. And you were so brave to do that. I often think, I need to ask you this honest question. Was there any part of you who didn't want to do that?
No.
You were just not nervous at all to just come do a podcast in front of a crowd? Love it. I always ask people because a lot of times people do things out of obligation. And I happen to know a lot of people pleasers in this space.
100%.
So I often wonder that. I'm like, did someone back themselves into a show they don't want to do?
Yeah.
Especially someone I don't know that well. I'm like, oh God. But honestly, could not have picked a better person. That was such a fun time.
Well, that's very nice of you to say.
So thank you so much for doing that. And we even went over the time I had allotted because I didn't want to stop talking to you.
Yeah.
But this is a much better way.
Well, that was
to talk to somebody, not in front of a crowd.
Yeah, I mean it's all good. No, I had so much fun. I felt it was like so nice of you to ask.
Yes!
I think a lot of us do. Like we kind of fade into the ether in our own minds of like, am I even a person that anyone even knows is around? And so it's like, but it's all perspective, you know?
Well, you want to know what, actually? I knew you were around for a while because I think because you had a podcast, or you still kind of have a podcast. Well, it's not currently in production, but
it's still available.
LOL, you're gay.
Yep.
I feel like you started. When did you start that podcast? Do you remember what year it was?
It probably would have been 2017.
Okay, I was thinking it might have been around then, because I remember when I started my show, and I was looking around the space as to like who in Halifax had podcasts. You were one of them.
Right.
So guess what, everybody? We are OG podcasters.
Yeah. We invented this shit.
I don't know about you, but when I started Intoxicated, I was like, there's Nighttime and Sick Boy, but like, there's no one else. It's just like I literally was like, I'm so special to be doing this thing.
Yeah.
Can you imagine starting a podcast now?
Yeah.
And you'd be like,
it's a lot.
We're a small fish in a big pond.
Yeah.
If you're starting at this point.
Well, that's it. And like we started ours. I hosted it with my friend Lisa Buchanan, who's like another amazing comic in Halifax. And we started it because we just like would hang out for a long time and have like really funny chats and just be really silly. And we're like, why don't we just
record this?
Why don't we just record this? We can't let this just be a genuine moment between two people. We have to make this a product. And so
for comics, that is the genuine, like, it's like the
totally.
only way you talk to people. It's crazy.
I haven't spoken to a person in a couple of days.
And here we are.
I got a microphone, so I'm ready to go. It's so funny with podcasting because it's like there's so much out there of this stuff, and it's hard to kind of like figure out what are you saying, like why are you adding your voice to this?
Absolutely, it is. I fucking love this space. This is where I want to be. This is like what I want for my career. But it is tricky to be special.
Yeah.
It's tricky to have even an original concept for a podcast. Like
totally.
even if you think your concept is original, someone else has probably already done it.
Yeah.
So I wish I knew the secret sauce.
Yeah.
I don't quite know yet. But I do know that like consistency and hard work and putting effort into it is for sure going to get you places. With my show, for me, it was realizing, this is actually not going to be a large scale podcast. This is actually more so going to be for people in the like maritime comedy space, getting to know their friends in a weird fucking way.
I think there's something magical to that.
There is something kind of magical to that, I think.
Because I think so many of us work on this like idea that we're trying to like globalize ourselves. We're trying to like make it in the big time. And that means make it in Toronto, make it in New York, make it in LA, like be present in those places. But like, this is a place you can be too. Like I grew up here. I'm from here. And like, I want to entertain the people here. That's I'm really kind of getting on that bend where I'm like, I want to be doing fun things with people from the Maritimes or people who are in the Maritimes.
Absolutely.
Because it's like such a magic place.
And you can also own that space.
Also that.
So there's nothing wrong with that.
Big fish, little pond.
Like I always say, like, because when I look back at comedy podcasts that had started around when Intoxicated did, I'm like, I'm the longest running female hosted comedy podcast.
Yeah.
And so I kind of own that title of like, no, not in Canada, but like on the East Coast. No female. There is another guy who's been running a podcast for I think longer than this one, but like you can still own a space. You can own your small space. And be really successful in that. And you're right. It does come down to what do you want it to be? Because if you have a medium listenership, but it's loyal. That can almost be worth more than a big listenership that's up and down every week kind of thing.
Well, because you're like creating like a special snapshot of of a space and what's happening in that zone, and like it's hard to like have perspective on ourselves. But I love this. I think this is a great podcast. And I think
thanks, Adam.
Well, but I do it, and I think it's just cool that like it's cool to see people just hammering it out and like doing their thing and like doing something that they love and they're doing it for that reason. And it's cool to see folks I know and like hear what they think about stuff. Cause like one thing that I have always kind of struggled with, I mean, I'm not great at making human connection, period. But with comedians, I think sometimes I struggle making those connections just because when we're at shows, I'm just like quiet. I'm like nervous waiting for my for my set. And so I'm not great at like the schmoozing, at the talking, at the making connections, at making friends, knowing what people are doing. I'm very focused on what I'm doing.
Yes.
And then I tend to like jet pretty quick after. And so like it's hard to know what's going on. So it's like it's a nice snapshot of what other people are thinking.
And I know a lot of people like that though.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people like that, and you're right. Yeah, if you can then put on a podcast and like listen to that person you saw at that show and like learn more about them, then the next time you see them, you can mention something that you learned about them or, make conversation that way. I don't blame you though. That before show mode is so vulnerable.
Yeah.
And you really got to suss people out. Like, Ladies' Night was last night at Oasis, and there was a woman there who I had never seen before do comedy. And I just made a point not to go talk to her until she was done. Because I was like, I think she's new, probably nervous. I'm not going to go up and be like, oh my God, hi, I'm Sarah. Do you need help? People pleasing mode.
Yeah.
Do you want to hang out? Like, I'm just going to not do that before she's about to go up. And sure enough, it was her 6th time doing comedy.
Yeah.
And we talked afterwards, but I was just like, I just made a point not to do that because I know how vulnerable that space is.
Yeah.
Mind you, some people are totally chill with it, and those people are insane.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it also comes with experience, right? I think now I'm getting to a point in my life where like I'm feeling much more confident in myself.
Fuck yeah. This is the positive reinforcement bell, by the way. It's the Yes Queen bell.
Yes, Queen. Yes, Queen.
Question mark?
Excuse me. Yes, Queen. I'm just getting to a point where like I'm trying to not like shit talk myself so much. You know what I mean?
That's so nice.
Just like in my own head.
So nice.
Because I think my main barrier to like doing anything is just my own fucking brain.
Oh my God.
We can. I don't swear. I won't swear too much, but
oh no, swear away.
Okay, great, perfect.
Shit, cunt, fuck, bitch.
So my fucking brain. I'm just trying to be more positive because like it still comes with a lot of the negative, but now there's like a little bit of a scale happening versus just it all being like, I'm the worst, I am trash, I'm not talented, I have nothing to add, I have nothing to talk about. That isn't necessarily true.
Good thing for you. You don't have a character online built up around that. You're at a good time to do this.
Yeah.
I've built an online character of being the self-deprecating, depressed girl.
Yeah.
And now no matter how happy I get, no one's going to believe me.
Yeah. That's really real though. And I think something that I hear a lot of comics talk about, and I've experienced myself, is like, I have so much fear that if I do fix myself, if I do like do any work to make myself any better mentally, that I'm not going to be funny anymore. And my number one concern in life is being funny. Everything else is deeply secondary to it. I don't like, I hold comedy and funniness to such reverence that like, I can't take the risk. And so I'm starting to know that like, that isn't actually the case.
No,
when
not
I
at
have
all.
felt better in the past, I've actually become funnier because I have the space to think and write.
And you're probably more open-minded.
I'm more open-minded. I'm more easy breezy. I'm not sitting having a panic attack for 8 hours. I'm like just, doing my thing.
Hear that, everybody? You don't have to hate yourself to be funny.
No, it's a helpful component.
It can be helpful. You can still be humble. Yeah. You can still have maybe certain aspects of yourself that you're like, because not everyone's going to like themselves 1,000%.
No.
Like, it's just not true. Like,
and you don't even have to genuinely.
Exactly.
You just have to tell yourself, regardless, if you do or don't.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. The confidence thing, 33, great age to get confidence. So good on you. Good on you.
It's my goal for 2023. I really am like, this is the year I want to like.
This is your New Year's resolution?
It's not so much even a resolution. It's just kind of like,
It's the confidence era.
It's the confidence era. We're entering it.
Yeah. I'm entering my boundaries era.
Oh, yeah. That's 2024. I'll get there eventually.
Catch up, Adam.
Yeah.
Catch up.
I'm not good at multitasking. I can do one thing at a time. I can do it well, but I can only do one.
But like, I mean, this is just it. You got to be working on yourself, and I'm glad a man is working on himself. So you're like, this is just because I hear a lot of women are, and sometimes I talk to guys about this type of thing, and I'm just like, I don't know if you guys know what you're doing.
Yeah.
In terms of self-actualizing, I guess would be self-awareness. To me is like so important. Self-esteem, that's fucking tough. But like, at least if you can be like self-aware.
Yeah.
About like what your issues are. That old cheesy saying, what is it, like knowing your problems is part of, what's that fucking
knowing your problems is that sounds right.
Knowing you have a problem is like a big step, kind of. I don't know what the saying is.
No, but
that thing.
Yeah. Well, just being able to like look at yourself and be like, because especially if you're a really hypercritical person of yourself, you know what I mean? Like I tend to like be like, what is a genuine thing I should work on versus what is something just me hating myself? And that delineation is tough. But I think that's where I'm doing a lot of the work. Because like, hey, I got things to improve. I got things to grow. I got things to do better.
Yeah.
But there's also things about me that are perfection.
Yes!
Absolute objective perfection.
Like things that you're really good at. That
Things
you know
that I'm
you're
good at?
Can you name some?
Comedy.
Yeah, fuck yeah, and he's right. Very fucking funny.
I'm a funny comedian.
And
you know? Not always the case.
There's not often times that I go, I want to go watch a comedy show that I'm not on.
Yeah. As a comedian, I get it.
I would go watch a show that you were on.
Well, that's very generous of you.
Super enjoyable comedian. How have you been like doing it?
I started doing stand-up in 2016.
Okay, yeah.
So it's like 7 years, if my math is right. I was just thinking about it the other day. Wow. I had done improv for most of my life, which I love.
Yeah.
But it's like it's just a different thing because it's not written. It's usually in a group. So it's just kind of a different dynamic.
I've been thinking about taking improv.
Improv is so fun.
Yeah.
It's a nightmare, but it's so fun. And you should.
Yeah, it's a good skill to have, eh?
I actually teach an improv class.
Do you really?
Periodically.
Let me know when.
Yeah, well, it's through, like, there's this theater company, Page One Theater, and they do a whole bunch of different cool programming. They actually have a festival of, like, queer theater coming up in April.
Oh,
and part of what they do is this, like, queer improv thing.
Okay.
And so, like, me and some friends, like, facilitate and run it. We do these shows down at Grafton Street Dinner Theater. It's a lot of fun. And you or anyone else should definitely try it.
Hey, listen to that, everybody. I actually have a friend who just did a bunch of improv classes, and she said it was super benefit. It was actually improv for anxiety.
Yeah.
Run by Bill Wood.
Oh, totally, yeah.
And it's I don't know if it's like meant to be like take this to the stage or more just like as people like learning dealing with anxiety kind of thing. But oh my gosh, like
I think it's both for sure.
What a useful skill.
Well, it's the thing I like about improv is like it gives me the confidence to stand on stage and not say anything. You know what I mean? Like to just be like
be okay in silence.
To be okay in silence, and I love silence. I don't say much until I'm like up there for like sometimes a minute. I don't say anything. I walk up slowly. I set myself up slowly. I love it because it builds this like
tension.
It builds a tension, but it's also building a trust because I'm like, trust me, the second I start talking, you're going to be cracking up. It's fine. Yeah. So I love that, like that energy. And it gets you into body work. It makes you into like a physical, funny person instead of just like voice.
And how your presence is coming off just physically on stage. What energy you're putting off without verbally saying anything.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
It makes you a more memorable performer.
I think, you know what, I totally fucking agree. Because when I think of like comics that leave impressions on me, it is that type of style.
Yeah.
Mind you, I just hate silence. Even today at work, I was reviewing a podcast I was going to go out. And I went and said to my editor, I was just like, at this time code, there is a 6-second pause, and I thought the episode was over. And he's like, really? Did you look at your player and see that it wasn't? And I was like, well, no, but like, when something's paused for a long time on a podcast, I think it's over.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just like, Sarah. I thought and then I realized I was like, oh no, it was dramatic buildup, and there was a reason for a pause there.
Yeah.
I need to be okay with the pause. But
it's a delicate balance, though.
Delicate balance.
Yeah. And especially, I think there's a difference between like a podcast where like, you know, the only thing you get is that audio.
Yeah.
Versus in person, you can do so much. Just taking your sweater off before you perform can be a whole bit. And that's what is exciting to me. Like how I take my jacket off, how I put my notebook down, all of those things are bits in my mind. Like all of this is like
theater. It's like theater.
It's all theater. It's absolutely theater.
Yeah. Interesting.
And because I've done, I've like written a few stupid plays that you know what? They're not stupid plays. I've written some.
See that, everybody? We caught it. We caught it. We caught it. Confidence in the making right here.
I've written
an amazing play.
Several amazing plays that I've been.
Yep. Yes.
And so that kind of like theater world, like the physicality and the kind of, you know, the visual of the comedy visual is so fun to play with, and it just adds you an entire new world to figure around with.
I love that.
Yeah, you should definitely do it.
That's so interesting. Do you ever do sketch?
Like video?
Sketch comedy, yeah, video.
I have in the past, very limited. It mostly goes back to like the tech stuff. It's not that I don't know tech. I'm not not that person, but I'm not that interested in it. Like,
right.
I
the
have
process of making something
like I have ideas. I write sketches all the time, but I never. That's something I'm like, I'll save these, and you know, maybe I'll get a week where we like shoot a bunch of them.
That's what I want to do. Yeah. That's what I want to do. I want to do sketches so bad.
Yeah.
My soul is craving, because there's something about that to me that is like, it's just a different kind of payoff than comedy, stand up. Being, you know, on stage in the moment with an audience right there in front of you. Like there's something I love about like writing out an idea, bringing it together with like all the components, like improvising at times or like changing it, and then seeing a finished product that you can edit together into something hilarious. There's something I fucking love about that. And I also have sketches that I want to fucking make happen.
Yeah. Well, I think this is the thing. It's like, it's making those connections, and like, if you get to like critical mass of enough, like a small group of people who like, you know, maybe we could all
do a weekend or something.
Do a weekend where we all bring one sketch and we shoot them, and then, God, you know what I mean? Awesome. Like, it's that, like, one thing that was so hard about the last few years, like, I really thrive on collaboration. I really like working with people.
Me too.
I'm good on my own, and I'm fine to do that, but I do. It's like a different muscle to like work with people and kind of like have a give and take.
Yeah.
Especially with comedy.
Yeah.
And so sketch is like, because sketch can also be like amazing, or it can be
terrible,
amazingly not amazing. Like it can be pretty rough, but that's kind of the nature of it, you know, because it's different than having an audience.
Yeah.
So you don't get the reaction. You're like, I think people will find this funny and they're home by themselves.
Or it could be like a viral video. Like that's the thing. It could be something really dumb, or it could totally fucking go viral. It would be interesting, like doing sketches in this, like in the TikTok era, where it's, you almost have to make it so short, so quick. Because I actually really, I'd love to see the data on YouTube and if people still watch YouTube videos. Like to me, a good sketch length would be like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like I would watch a 5-minute sketch.
Yeah. But
I you know, probably not a lot of younger people are doing that.
Yeah.
Not 15 seconds. I'm out.
Oh, totally. There's always kind of been a hard. That length of thing has always been kind of tricky to like get out into the world, because it's basically a short film, right?
Yeah.
And like short film, like so many people make short films. I've made short films, and short films kind of have no market. Like it's more of like an exercise than anything else, because you put all this work into this thing, and then basically no one sees it.
It's wild.
And it takes its money, its time,
lots of time,
and the time to me is very precious.
Time is my currency.
Oh, I'm right there with you.
Yeah, time, and the timing of this podcast is great, because I don't know if I don't have you on my close friends on Instagram, I'm adding you, but I posted like a note.
Oh, I think you do, yeah.
Oh, are
Yeah,
you?
I saw
Thank
it.
God. I was like, as I was saying it, I was like, I don't know if I have them on there, but I change it all the time.
You know, I could have brought the drama. And
Why am I not on close friends?
I'm too anxious of a person. I'm like immediately, no, like I definitely am. You're all good. I'm caught up.
I love like my close friends is like, I just don't include, I don't know. Instagram is weird. I've had some weird, like kind of stalkery,
Yeah.
unsafe
That's
experiences on
that
there.
is
So
hell on earth.
that's why I love close friends. Cause I'm like, I know these people aren't going to be fucking weird.
Yeah.
But I posted a thing today just essentially being like, I'm taking a comedy break, an indefinite. I'm not putting an end date on this comedy break.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just literally not going to do some shows until I really want to do a show again. And I want to have that like, ooh, I really want to get up. Like it has to
Yeah.
be that energy, not a, I guess I should go. I guess
Yeah.
I should practice.
I think that's really smart, honestly.
Yeah.
Like
I need it.
There's such an intense hustle culture in comedy that like if you're not at every show, if you're not performing every week, that there's something like you're not serious about it. And I understand one side of that where like you do have to put the time in and you do have to practice and you do have to put that work in. But in the same vein, like we're all different people. We all have different capacities. We can't. I can't be out in public all the time. I'm still barely leaving the house. Like
Yeah.
I know that COVID's been over forever for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And but that's not my experience, right? And
Right.
so
And we have to respect that.
yeah. And we like push ourselves and we get out there and we do shows. But even before COVID, I wasn't one of those people that like was at every show.
Right.
And it's not that I didn't want to be, but it just didn't feel right for me. Like I just wanted to have a little more space and time to like think and mull things over in between performing. And there's a balance for everybody that you have to strike. But I think you shouldn't feel any guilt about that at all. I think it's super great.
That's where
to do.
I want to be.
Yeah.
Exactly what you just said just there, which is like having that time to, and my biggest insecurity has always been that I'm not a fast writer and I've been hating just showing up doing the same stuff.
Yeah.
And maybe it's different. Maybe it's performed differently, whatever. I understand that those things matter too. But like, I'm just uninspired. I've been neglecting
Yeah.
personal life. I've been neglecting just life in general.
Yeah, yeah.
So like I'm just making a point to go. I'm not on. Like I turned down a split middle at Yuck Yucks, which is like that was a big deal for me to turn that down. And
Yeah.
in all honesty, like I accepted it. Had 5 days of just sheer panic of like, oh my God, I'm gonna hate this. I'm gonna hate this. I'm gonna hate every
Totally.
minute of this. I'm gonna hate every single minute. This is just pure. I start breaking out. Like
Yeah.
my face started breaking out.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't do this. I've been wanting this break for so long, and then
Yeah.
this opportunity came around, and I only took it because I felt obligated to take it.
Yeah.
So I had to turn it down. So at that point, I was like, okay, bitch is serious. Bitch
Yeah.
is serious
Yeah, yeah.
about this break. So
But honestly, that like, congratulations
thank you
for getting to that point and
Thank
being able to
you.
be like, that's what I need.
Yeah, it's
and doing it.
hard boundary.
You know, because there's also like knowing what you need, but then doing what you
Doing
need.
it.
That's a whole other thing. I
Ooh,
recently
yeah.
turned something down.
Ooh.
It wasn't a stand up thing. It was like an improv thing that it would have been. It was good, but it was like I wasn't feeling the fantasy. I was just feeling like it was gonna be not that fun,
Okay, gotcha.
and I was just kind of like I want to have fun.
If it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no.
It kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like, and it's not about like, blowing away opportunities, but it's like making time in your life for opportunities for the right things to come along.
That's right. That's right. Because if you would have taken that, you might have burnt out energy that you could have been using to get to the ones that you want to get
Yeah.
to.
100%.
So it's like, hey, everybody, turn shit down.
Yeah. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
we always want to hope that like this is going to be the show. This is going to be the one that there's going to be that
Big
person
break.
there that's going to like be like, "Oh, this person's the next whatever." And
In that voice specifically.
exactly. And maybe that is true. But it's probably not.
Yeah, yeah.
And to me, it's like when it comes to like supporting your own needs and your own mental health,
Yeah.
I get it. Like I went right before the pandemic hit, I was actually kind of feeling like really bored of everything I was doing,
Yeah.
comedy wise. I was tired of my jokes. I was feeling like I wasn't writing that much because I had kind of written, I had like 45 minutes of stuff that I could like really easily put into a quick list and do, and it would be no problem. But I was feeling not super inspired by it because I wasn't like writing new stuff.
Yep.
And that's why, like, right before the pandemic, I was trying to start up a little tour.
Yeah.
That, you know, was going to happen, but couldn't happen because of everything that happened. But anyway.
Yeah.
And I was feeling like I was like, I have to I need to do a life.
Live a life. This is exactly where I'm at.
Yeah.
This is exactly where I'm at because when January came around, I was like, this is the year of living.
Yeah,
And I'm going to date now. Like, I'm actually going to date.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not just going to bitch about dating. Bitch about dating that I don't do.
Right.
I heard something cheesy recently. Well, two things. One thing is Dan Henderson like really gave me a big realization about dating where he was like, I think you actually really don't want a relationship because if you did, you would have done something about it by now. And I was like, oh, shit, dude. Like, fuck. That's true.
Yeah.
Maybe I am too comfortable with this like hyper independent life or whatever.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
heard something that was essentially like if you want something or if like your soul kind of wants something, you really do have to make space for it.
Yeah.
And in my case, that's Google Calendar space.
Yeah. 100%. But that's so real. And like, it's so hard to make that time and space in the world today because we're all like
So busy.
and so, you know, so we need to work, we need to make money, we need to pay our rent and
Be fulfilled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And something I really learned over the pandemic, I mean, I knew this before, but like that fulfillment piece is comedy for me. Like that is the singular thing that like gives me self-worth, basically.
I love that. Yeah.
And I was really concerned that the singular thing that I like, that brings me endless joy and I love more than anything, was kind of drying up a little bit. It was feeling a little done. I was like, I didn't know what to do with it. And that's why I was trying to spice it up. I was trying to change, trying to do some new stuff, trying to do a little tour. And then the pandemic hit and I was like, well, I guess it's just toast anyway.
And that puts a wrench in things.
It really does. But then now when I do shows, I don't give a shit. I just do what I want to do. I go up there and do exactly what I want. And it's so fun. And I'm getting better reactions than I have in the past. And I'm really learning that like, I just need to be freer in what I like being and doing.
Being totally authentic.
Yeah.
Like you said, only doing the jokes you want to do.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh.
Yeah, like I've been living my life. I think I'm bad with the characters' names. Sex and the City.
Which one?
The reboot. The really slutty girl.
Oh, Samantha.
The Samantha. I thought that's what it was, but I was
you had
like,
a Samantha era?
well, this is the Samantha era.
You're in it.
In the sense that the real world person turned down doing the reboot of Sex and the City. She didn't do it.
Fuck, that's right.
And they asked her, she was like, people kept like, why don't you want to do it? She's like, I don't want to spend 1 hour doing something I don't feel like doing. And I'm like, girl, yeah, that's my new life now.
And you know what's wild? It takes a long time to get there. And I feel like
yeah.
most people don't get there until their 30s.
Yeah.
I think 30s is that time where you do start realizing like, fuck. I think there's always a period of time in your early 30s, and like I'll just use the example of birthdays because I just had one.
Right.
Where you
Happy
still
belated.
Oh, thank you so much. 36 and still trying to party. And
Oh,
so what I learned
I'll party till I'm dead.
when I learned this, like I was like, there's a certain age that you still try to go out.
Yeah.
But your adult life just like it just hits you hard of like, bitch, these days are done.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you just have to have that moment and go, it's okay. I don't want to go out.
Yeah.
I don't want to have this crazy birthday where we go here and then we go here and then we go to this bar and then we go like it is literally just I had dinner with friends. I popped a weed gummy.
Yeah.
And I went to a private karaoke room and tripped out.
I mean, that sounds like perfection.
I did exactly what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I didn't care about anybody else. I said, everybody, I don't care what you do.
Yeah.
If you're not coming, that's totally fucking fine. This is what I'm doing. Meet me here if you want to come.
Yeah. I love that. I just, life is short and hard. And I just, I spent a lot of my time being a real people pleaser, being a real, do what other people think I should do with my life.
Yeah.
And I'm getting to a real point now where I'm like, honey, it's my life. It's mine.
It's yours.
It's mine, though.
Yeah.
I appreciate the feedback, but it's my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm just going to be silly, tell jokes, and work in an art gallery because that brings me joy.
Oh, my
and,
God.
you know, life's a nightmare.
Life's a nightmare.
Let's make it a little less of that.
Or let's try to like the nightmare a little bit.
Let's vibe with the nightmare.
Let's get to know the nightmare.
Court the nightmare.
Just figure out its strengths and weaknesses. Well, that's just it, because you just gotta deal with the hand you got dealt.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, is that a phrase? Deal with the hand you got dealt.
It's just like,
is that weed gummy still in my system?
no, I very rarely talk with people that are as pessimistic about life as I am. And I'm like, yeah, no, you just got to deal with the hand you got dealt. That's exactly how I feel.
Because like I was telling you before this, just like there's certain things in my life that just aren't happening at this age that I thought would, and it's just like, what am I gonna do? Like, just literally be in a depressive pit about it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
There was no time for that.
Yeah.
So, like, for example, I really want to move. I hate this. I've been in this apartment for a long time. I hate it. But I can't. $1,800? Can't afford that. Can't afford that.
No.
Don't get me started on that whole thing. That
Yeah.
could be a whole other podcast.
Yeah.
But, like, instead, I might start a TikTok series that's like making my affordable Halifax 1-bedroom
Yes.
apartment a nicer place. And doing like little DIYs or something. Like, maybe I'll get you to help me with some DIYs.
I would love that, actually.
Like,
by all means, that would be fun.
honestly, like, because if you build things,
Yeah, I do.
I would fucking commission you to build me some shelves or something. I don't know.
But this is what I did at home.
Yeah.
I've been like really, similarly been like, every apartment in Halifax sucks, basically. Like, it's
true.
Living in Halifax, you're going to pay $1 million and you're going to live in it's awful. I mean, it's fine. It is what it is. And I'm very grateful and I have a great, whatever.
Yeah.
But I was getting to, I was always so busy in my life before that I never took the time to like really kind of like nest into a home and like make the place I'm living nice. Cause I'm always like, well, this feels temporary. Like, I don't know how long I'll be here. I don't care how long I'll be there. If I need a special shelf built, I'll build myself a special shelf because I'll use it.
Yes.
I have a little studio space at home and I've, built some shelving and I have all my tools and my like gear and all my stuff that I buy because I'm like, love to buy things.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, one day I'll knit, one day I'll, watercolor paint.
Yeah.
Surely. So you buy these things. I'm like, oh, so I have like a place for them now. I have a nice little studio desk. And most nights before I go to bed, I usually spend an hour just like sitting at my little desk, being like, what am I going to do? I want to write draw a little stupid picture.
I want to cry.
Yeah.
That's so sweet.
But it's just trying to like treat myself a little nicer.
You just hit the Taurus moon in me so hard. I just love the idea of a cozy little home that people love.
Yeah.
In fact, that's my favorite. I took a picture of my friend Wendy. Do you know Wendy Martin?
I don't think I do.
Kind of here and there popping up in comedy. Like she's a jack of all trades.
I'm also terrible with names.
She's done she like does music. Like she does everything.
Yeah.
She's a very artistic woman. But I was hanging out with her once at her place, and I took a picture of her just sitting in her apartment, and it's one of my favorite photos ever because like she has like plants everywhere and like a bunch of art on the walls, and like she's sitting on like a yoga ball thing as a chair, and like she has her computer with like photo editing, and like I'm just like, this is the perfect way to see somebody.
Yeah.
Like in their space, it's like a tiny little space, but they made it their own like little home.
It's what you got to do, especially with places that are so small, right? Like my little studio, it's super crammed, it's super messy, it's just clutter, and the table is 90% covered in knickknacks and little stupid paintings I've done. But I would love to see cozy just to sit there,
I should start a photo series where I take pictures of people in there.
So fun.
In there. Do you have? We are gonna get to the segments eventually, I swear. But this has just been fucking great, and I need this conversation.
Oh, anytime.
What was I gonna fucking say? Oh yeah, about clutteredness. You're someone who has depression, right? Why'd I even add the right? I know
Yeah.
you are.
Yeah.
Are you someone who has what I call the depression pile in your bedroom?
My bedroom is a depression pile. There's not a depression pile. It is one.
It is the whole pile.
Yeah.
That's such a real thing.
Yeah, I have 2 dressers that I don't use. I use the tops of them, but I don't use the drawers. Partially because over the pandemic, I wore 2 things. And so all my clothes basically sat in those dressers since 2019.
Unworn,
and they got musty, and the dressers are musty, and I'm kind of like, I don't want musty clothes, so I don't use them. And so now my bedroom is set up like this. I'm working on changing it, but it's going to be like a spring thing. I'm not doing it right now. I have a rocking chair in the corner with 40 items of clothes on it, and a sleeping bag I bought that I'm like, it was a good deal. It was $19.
love.
So that's underneath. And then next to that is the bed that has, it's a bed with blankets and pillows. And then around the corner.
I would be concerned if it didn't have blankets.
It does have those things. I won't say that they're nice. They are very they are what they are.
Yep.
But then, yeah, it's kind of this like dresser IKEA bag mountain of like clean, somewhat clean, definitely not clean.
Do you have a hamper?
I have a tote.
Do you have to travel for laundry, or is it?
Yeah.
You do? Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah, I used to have a hamper, and then I would never make it to the bottom of it. You know what I mean? Like when I do laundry, because I would skim the top off, which is like the essentials and the things I actually wear.
That's the realest thing I've ever heard. I
hey.
totally understand what you mean.
But then like the stuff that's like, if you start doing a real archaeological dig, you start to get to like the dress shirts you haven't worn in 6 years that you're like, I cannot button that anymore. I couldn't button it at the time.
Oh my God.
And I was like, you know what? I don't need this negativity in my life. I skimmed off what I actually wear. Everything else, I don't even know what was underneath. I took the bin, I put it in a garbage bag.
Good
I was like,
for you.
I'm enriching my life. And now the tote only has things I know that I wear, and I washed it all.
Yeah.
And I'm like semi-functional.
That's such a gift to yourself.
Hey.
Fuck yes. Declutter that shit.
Yeah.
There's companies that will, because I think part of like purging, for me anyways, it's like, well, where am I throwing everything in the garbage, or am I donating it? Or like, where's this stuff going? There's like services you can hire, and you do have to pay, but like that will literally, if you're like, everything in this closet needs to go,
right,
they will come in and just take it for you. And I've been thinking about
great.
doing it like at some point, because yes, I could probably try to sell a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
It's going to take so much fucking time.
That,
and effort.
And guess what's worth more than money?
Time. For us, people like us, time.
And
Although I love money too.
Hey, I understand money's place, and I use it when I need to. Mm-hmm. But I've really become attached to my time and how I get to spend it.
Yes.
And I think that's a great idea for you.
Right? I should do it.
Yeah.
Like, I literally think maybe with my tax return,
What a nice treat to yourself. That's this age.
Declutter.
My tax return money doesn't go to the dome.
No.
It goes
or
to
credit card debt.
Or credit card debt. It goes to some decluttering service.
It's like 101 Gut Junk or something like that. Like, it's like all of these places have like the funniest names too. And like I've been like researching them all, and they all seem pretty good. It's just like I guess a matter of like what price point you want kind of thing. But like just to have someone to like come in, like I have a storage closet that literally is just, I never touch anything in there. So it can't be that important.
Yeah.
It cannot be that important.
But you're like, I get it. Like, I've always been pretty broke. And if I have something, I bought it. And so I'm pretty protective over the things I have, just because I'm like that. I worked at least an hour or two
to buy that thing.
I should give it a good home and treat it well. But that's kind of,
clothes,
it gets over the top.
Clothes are the tricky part for me.
Yeah.
Because I buy so much clothes. And I have this like obsession about like, I need a new shirt for every podcast.
Yeah,
or like, I can't wear the same shirt on a podcast within a year. I have that weird rule. I'm like, okay, if I wore it like last year, I can bring it back. And like shows and stuff, I'm like, oh, I don't want to wear that. Yeah. So I'm always buying fucking clothes. But now I've been trying to do the thing where if I buy a new item, I throw an old one.
Yeah.
I treat it like Instagram stories.
I think that's fair, though.
If I post a new Instagram story, I gotta delete an old one because it's too much, Sarah.
I mean, that is at your own regulation, but I support it. And
what's your relationship with social media?
it's fine.
Yeah.
It's pretty nonplussed. It's pretty kind of like meh.
You're not like affected by it in a positive way or negative. You're like neutral.
I try to be pretty neutral about it.
I like that.
Yeah, it's hard to not engage with it in a way that like just gives me the instant gratification of like people like me for something.
Yeah.
Because that's what it's for.
That is what it's for. Totally.
And so I've tried to transition my social media more to being like professional. I mean, this is
yeah.
by professional I mean like I'm posting about shows.
Creative. Yeah.
I'm posting photos from shows.
Yeah.
It's mostly like a new project coming up. It's kind of that stuff because I'm not good at like modulating my interaction with things. If I'm doing something, I'm going to stare at it for 10 hours.
Yeah.
And so is why I got rid of TikTok primarily because I'm like, I can't have a healthy relationship with this, so I can have no relationship.
Yeah.
And so like, so I mostly just use Instagram. I use it more than I should, but I'm like whittling it away as it gets more and more boring and more ads it's all it feels like it is.
Yeah.
But it's rough. It's a rough one.
I really want to make a show where I take people to like a social media detox.
Yeah.
I would love to take influencers and put them in the woods and like have it be like almost like a Big Brother style reality show of who can fucking last the longest.
I'd love to see Nick Offerman host that show.
Yes.
It would be so good. He was also just like deeply charming.
Yes.
But I feel like he would align with your
some sort of
vision.
outdoorsy, no bullshit person host.
Yeah.
And then also just to see these people whose income is based on their web presence.
Totally.
Be without it.
Yeah.
For a second. I think that'd be fucking fascinating.
Yeah.
Because it's insane how addicted we are to it. And if you think about people who do it for a job, that's even more so.
Yeah, it's not the fantasy to me.
Oh.
I don't know. It's too much. It's too tapped in. I need to like I've been reading a book it's pretty interesting. It's kind of on that like digital detox idea. There's this guy, I think it's called it's funny that I can't remember the name of it exactly. I'm pretty sure it's called Stolen Focus.
Oh.
And it's all about, just how the world is designed to just keep us focused on our phones essentially 24/7. And how we just it's deeply hard to break out of that because that's the world we live in. Absolutely. And so this whole thing is about this guy like renting a cottage and like going away with nothing and kind of having these like epiphanies, but then still being like brought right back into it. And when he leaves his cabin, and it's interesting to see like, even if you're trying to make those efforts, it's tough, especially if you're someone who's trying to have some kind of public persona. Presence. If you're an artist, if you're a performer, you kind of can't not engage with it.
That's right.
In some way.
If you're in that space to be successful in that space, you have to. You have to. I've heard of some comedians that actually hire people to just take it over. Mm-hmm. And this guy, Chris DiStefano, comic in the States, he has someone who just runs his Instagram, posts the things. So he sees nothing. Because he was actually saying that it wasn't just the negative comments that were getting to him. It was also the positive ones. Because when you see the positive ones, you're like, can I have more of those? Yeah.
Well, there's
no limit.
Yeah, like it's like a brain chemical roller coaster, and it's intentionally that way. But especially if you're someone who has like complicated brain chemistry to begin with, it's even harder to engage with in a way that's healthy to me. Like the way that feels healthy to me.
Neurodivergent people. Oof.
Yeah. Well, anybody that has like any amount of like, for me, I deal with a lot of depression and anxiety, and that's been something I've dealt with my whole life. And if I have like a way that I don't have to leave the house and I can get a bunch of like accolades and support and well wishes for doing virtually nothing, it's hard to not, hit that little button.
Yeah, to get that hit.
Exactly. It's like I feel like I'm an experiment in the 60s, some kind of psych experiment. Yeah.
Well, that's the actual scrolling motion is like slot machines.
Yeah.
It's that addictive. Oh, it's a scary world we live in.
I dog sat recently. And I don't love leaving the house, so it's like it was,
But it's to see a dog, not a human. It's a bit better, right?
Oh, it's so great. And I was like going for walks and stuff, and I was like, oh God damn it.
Oh,
This is really good for me.
the dog.
The walking.
Oh. But the dog is the catalyst for the walk.
Absolutely, the dog too. The dog brings me a lot of joy. But I'd being like, oh, a little bit of fresh air and a little bit of a walk. This is the first and last time I'll ever admit that. It's probably good for me.
It is.
So I've been doing it a
we
little
hate
bit.
to admit it. We hate to buy into the exercise thing,
Ugh.
but you know what it is? People have to really calm down about like the really hard workouts. And you have to
Yeah.
just walk. Like
Literally go for
simple
a walk.
movement. Simple movement.
Yeah.
Simple movement.
Yeah.
I like to have a step minimum. Like I track steps on my phone.
Right.
And sometimes when I don't hit that, I'm like, in the winter it's tougher.
Yeah.
But every now and then I'll walk home from work versus take the bus. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I feel so much better.
Yeah, I've been walking to work sometimes because my car is not running right now.
She's taking a breather.
She's taking a little break for the winter. She doesn't like the roads.
She's hibernating.
She's hibernating. And so I've been like kind of walking half the time to work, and I don't know, like it's kind of, I mean, it's awful, but it's also sometimes nice. Sometimes the air is just beautiful and you hear a bird and you're like, I guess it's fine.
And do you not listen to anything in your ears when you're walking?
I haven't been.
How's that? Oh, see, that would be hard for me.
I started because I forgot my headphones.
Oh no!
And because I'm deeply
That's
like,
my worst nightmare.
oh yeah, I'm a AirPods noise cancel almost all day.
Yeah,
like
same.
that's just who I am.
Same.
But I don't know. I was walking the dog without them, and it was kind of nice to like, and I'm talking mostly at night. So when I'm like doing like little night walks, it's like
that's
so
safer, too.
quiet. Like I grew up in the country, and I do miss that like access to quiet space in any way,
Yes.
shape, or form.
Yes.
And then so I was like maybe, and then I forgot them, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to turn around. I'm going to walk all the way to work with nothing in.
Good.
And just maybe it'll be fine, and it was fine.
Right? And like what you said at the start there, that it kind of sucks, but you did it. It's the doing of hard things
Yeah.
that I think can give us that eventual like dopamine.
Oh, totally. And defining what those hard things are, like. There's probably someone listening being like, that's not a hard thing, Adam.
It is for depressed
It's
people.
hard for me.
Are you kidding me? Like if you're really depressed,
Yeah.
like I don't know how depression manifests for you, but I go through like truly can't get out of bad days.
Yeah.
Like physically cannot get out.
Yeah.
Glued to the bed.
Yeah.
So it is a fucking hard thing to do.
Yeah.
So anyone who says that clearly has not had that type of depression.
Oh, totally. And good for you. That's amazing.
Good for you. I'm jealous.
In today's society, in today's world, you don't. Okay.
Okay, queen.
Whatever. You go off.
Yeah. Oh, you mask your depression? Sounds exhausting.
Yeah. It does. It does sound exhausting. Yeah. So yeah, it's been kind of nice, and I guess if nothing else, I'm telling myself it's nice because I don't have another option.
That's right.
The car's not going to magically turn on.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, I got to make walking great.
Well, then there you go. And see, that's you being more positive.
I'm
not
trying to reframe my perspective.
You're a more positive pessimist.
Yeah.
Do you think you're still a pessimist?
Oh.
Yeah. Same.
Oh. Deeply in every way, shape, or form. I'm just trying to trick my brain every now and then.
Yeah.
To just give myself a chance.
Do you ever stop yourself? Like I go to say things and then I go, don't say that. There's happy people in the world. Like,
Yeah.
I hate being the person to see people excited with something and going, okay, but
Yeah.
but this might happen.
Yeah, I try to keep that stuff to myself.
Yeah, I try to.
When at all possible. Like I kind of just like philosophically don't like being involved in people's decision makings as people.
Yes. Great point.
So I'm kind of just like, none of us know what we're doing. None of us had to know how to do a life. So I don't actually know any better.
Yeah.
And so I kind of keep that to myself, but I do tend to, catastrophize almost everything. Except for comedy. I'm relatively confident that's going to be fine.
That's really good.
As long as there's comedy clubs.
Do you go to worst case scenario? In your head,
Sometimes.
like with the situations a lot? Like,
yeah, I do like to at least play through those scenarios and be like, what is that? So I know how to process it if that's what happens.
yeah, exactly. That's fair.
Yeah, I kind of like fiercely independent, like you were saying. I just like my independence and my sustainability on my own is essential.
Yeah.
And so I kind of sometimes need to trick myself into thinking that is possible.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah, like what's the worst that could happen if I go to a singles mixer or if I go to a bar? What's the worst thing that can happen? We got this.
Yeah, the bar burns down. Nobody can get out. We all burn to death.
And then we're all in it together.
And then we're all... and then it's over anyway. So have another drink. Round on me. Well, we all burn, honey.
Let's burn, baby, burn.
On the dance floor.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, okay, so this has been lovely. But I am going to go through the segments a little bit because we did the segments at the live show very quickly. So we'll start with the assumption segment, I guess. More assumptions.
So fun.
More assumptions. So at the live show, I'm trying to remember my assumptions. If I remember correctly, I think that I said, that you like when plans cancel, which is very, very true.
Yeah.
And that's true for both of us. One new one that I came up with, this is a silly one.
I love silly.
I think all of these are going to be silly.
Perfect. It's my new bread and butter.
I feel like you would have a good finger on the pulse with diner breakfasts.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty safe assumption.
I don't feel like you're a bougie brunch bitch.
No.
But I feel like you're the type of guy that would like a local mom and pop's diner breakfast.
It's one of the things I miss the most about the pre-COVID world. I was deeply that person. And I intend to get there eventually. I'm working on, leaving the house, so we'll find it eventually.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love a bargain breakfast.
Yeah.
A bargain breakfast is like if I was a food,
Yeah.
it might be a bargain breakfast.
Yeah.
Because it's just like you're starting your day late. You're starting it late. You're probably with a friend. It's like a Tuesday, late morning, early afternoon. Ooh. You're paying $7.99. I don't think it gets much better than that. I mean, I'm talking about the past.
I was going to say $5.99. But you got
a tip for $5.99.
Yeah, under $10 breakfast. Are you kidding me? Best thing on the earth.
It's comedy, breakfast under $10, being left alone. It's kind of
starter pack for Adam.
My favorite things. My favorite like weird diner cheap breakfast. It's a hack that I came up with of a lunch food that I slightly change. So I'm a big fan of the Ardmore.
Oh, I was literally just thinking Ardmore.
It's a classic.
It's my favorite.
It's one of the only things about old Halifax that still exists. And so it's like, I'm glad they're still doing their thing.
Take debit now, which is great.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, they take debit now.
That changes the game. Because I understand the whole cash thing, but at a certain point, I'm like, I don't know. I can't.
There was a thrill to it for me. Like, oh, shit! I don't have the cash.
Well, I live very close to there, so that's good to know. And I go there.
Yeah.
And I get the following.
Oh, here we go. We're going to tag Ardmore in this.
I get a hot hamburger sandwich, which is a classic sandwich. If you guys don't know, white bread, hamburger patty, white bread, gravy, peas. Hot hamburger sandwich. That's what it is.
That sounds delicious.
Comes with fries. They back in the old days, they used to have really beautiful shoestring fries, which in my opinion are the only fry.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Fuck fat fries.
Yeah, fuck fat fries.
Oh, wow. That's a quote.
And
we're not body positive when it comes to fries.
I'm deeply positive because I have I make up for it in the volume of the skinny fries. Me and the skinny fries have a long, sordid relationship.
Okay, so they have shoestring fries.
And they have the perfect shoestring fries. They're perfectly cooked. They're nice and crispy, soft on the inside. And then I get a side of two Over Easy eggs. They cook eggs there very nicely. And then I take the Over Easy eggs. I lift the top bread. I put the eggs in the sandwich. I close it. And I enjoy.
That must be a thick sandwich. Do you go hands in with that?
No. That's a fork. No.
Walk me through it. How are you eating this thing?
It's a fork and knife.
Hell yeah.
A hot hamburger sandwich is a fork and knife.
Do you think that there's people out there that would disagree with that? Are you
They
you'd
can
have
disagree
to be insane to
They can disagree all they want. They're incorrect.
Truly. Someone must love them.
Oh.
You can't have no one that loves like someone must love them so much that they're confident enough to pick something like that up and have it be everywhere, especially with the gravy.
I have a hard time with that kind of. I don't like a messy food in public.
No.
Hey, I'll eat a messy food at home.
Yeah.
But that's a me and myself kind of thing.
That's a different thing altogether.
Yeah. In public, I'm very fork and knife.
Fuck yeah. I'm even fork and knife with pizza sometimes.
You know what? Live your life. There's no wrong way to do anything because everything is made up. You know? So
who cares?
Literally, who cares? Mind your own business and leave me alone.
You know what's so funny? Like we say that, but there's also like probably some food hot takes that we would like get very passionate about that we would disagrry.
100%.
Like there's always like the classic like spoon or fork with KD. I had KD tonight for dinner.
I had this is all I've eaten today too.
No, stop. That's all you've eaten today.
It was basically breakfast because I didn't eat breakfast. I had a coffee and then I had Kraft dinner.
I felt so guilty about it because lately I've been like, I'm 36 and this is how I'm eating.
In today's economy?
Yeah, that's fair.
What the fuck are you supposed to eat? What are you supposed to eat?
Thank you.
You're supposed to eat a rotten head of lettuce that's $8? No, thank you. I'm getting a $1.99 box of food that I enjoy and I know how to cook.
$7 raspberries. What are we doing?
Oh, it's not me doing it, whatever it is.
$12 dry shampoo used to be $7.99.
No thanks.
I hate the world right now.
Yeah, it's the worst place to be.
Truly.
Yeah.
Okay, so diner breakfast, I loved that. That was such a passionate clip. That's like going to be their promo. They should. Okay, if they put that on there as a menu item, what would you call it? I mean, the standard would be like just your name, but like, would you call it something else? Like Adam's Tuesday sunrise.
Oh, that's what it is.
It has to be a Tuesday, eh?
It doesn't have to be, but it's the perfect day for it.
It's not the standard weekend.
Yeah. I love my favorite time to do like a brunchy, like to eat out at a restaurant is a time when normal people are like at their job because I don't have to interact with them. Mm-hmm. If you're here, you're a degenerate like me. Mm-hmm. And I can get on with that, you know?
You know what's my equivalent of that?
I can't wait.
Late night grocery shopping.
Yeah. Oh, that's a whole different world.
That's my world.
Yeah. That's the world I want to get into. I haven't broken into that scene yet.
That's fine.
but I've
you
done
might
it.
Get there.
I've done it now and then to get it. I don't do like a big grocery shop. I'll grab a couple things.
Yeah.
But I like the vibe.
Yeah.
I like what's happening in there.
Well, it's not as busy.
Yeah. Check.
And I love Walmart. I like wandering around Walmart. And I'll say it. This is mostly Halifax listeners. Hopefully I'm not giving away too much about my address, but like the Mumford Walmart, I'm fully aware is the worst Walmart in Halifax. I fucking love it, everybody. I love that it's a fucking train wreck.
Yeah.
It's a mess. It's unorganized. They also trap you in it because you go in and you cannot get out unless you go through a checkout line.
Yeah.
There's no exit. I actually went up to a worker and I said, how do I get out of here? And they didn't even know.
Yeah.
Chaos.
They don't make enough
chaos. They don't make, and I go, I love every single one of the workers there. In fact, I'm friends with one of the workers there because I saw him at a comedy show and I went, you are Walmart. I love you.
Yeah, they're like real people.
If I ever won the lottery, like I would go and give them each $1,000. Like I truly, truly would. Maybe more than that, depending on how much I win.
I mean, that's pretty nice. People you don't know them.
Right? But I just love that it's a fucking mess. Yeah. And it is what it is. And they don't try to make it what it's not.
Yeah.
I love late night roaming around like Walmart, maybe a little high.
Oh, little.
You get some chips. You just kind of walk around the aisles and like you look at things.
I used to love that Walmart. That's what.
Yeah?
I'm a 90s kid. I'm a big mall person.
Zellers?
Oh my God.
Zellers is coming back.
I've heard this. I don't know in what capacity, but I'm very interested.
Right? Zellers Kmart?
Oh. 2 or 3 of my 8 good memories from my life are in Kmart's.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I don't remember exactly what they are, but I just feel them. You know?
It has that essence of a good memory. I feel that. Walmart's
that was like the
for me.
place we went.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we would like drive into town every, once or twice, every week or so. And we'd go to like get our stuff and do a little shop. And I'd always go to the Game Boy games and see what was great and what was terrible. I always picked the wrong thing and it was always awful. But it's magic. It's still magic.
There's something about a department store.
I love a department store.
Because everything is there.
Everything is there.
I love the idea, and there's probably a movie about it, but like I love the idea of like people getting trapped in a department store overnight.
Yeah.
There's got to be a movie about that.
If there isn't, maybe I'll make it.
Can you imagine a movie? Okay, we're going to write it right now. You get trapped in, I don't know, power outage happens, or the doors lock or something. But it's people from all fucking walks of life.
Yeah.
All various backgrounds. You have different sexualities, different gender expressions, different, like everything. It's like a mixing pot of people, and it's another thing I'm horny for. Movies that take place in 24 hours.
Yeah.
So it has to be 24-hour span. That's it. And then they all get to know each other and learn to love each other at the end of the movie.
You think that's what'll happen?
I will have like the conservatives with the more liberal people coming to like, ooh, I love it.
I mean, you never know. It's entirely possible.
Love it.
I made a short film in 2018, 2019, through a grant program, and it was like actual money to make a real film. By real, I mean I got to pay people to do everything else, and it was about a mall, it was so fun. It was called Baggage, and it was about this little shop.
Oh my god! Yes, okay.
Yeah.
I need to see that.
Yeah,
How can I see that?
I'll send it to you.
Oh
It's
my god!
on
Please do.
YouTube.
Yay.
I don't know if it's public, but it's definitely there in some
my God.
capacity. And yeah, it's just this little short about these 2 friends who are like in their late 20s, kind of being like, I don't know what the hell to do with my life, working at this like baggage store, kind of like a Bentley's, but it wasn't Bentley's. It was just like a luggage kind of bag store. And just kind of like living that kind of like dead mall vibe where they're kind of like mourning the end of this thing that like we grew up doing.
Yeah.
And it was such a fun experience. And I got to shoot it out in a mall in Bedford. We're like in an actual mall. It was so great.
Oh
and
my
so
god,
fun.
too cool.
Yeah, it was the best. So I have a real huge place in my heart for like strip malls.
Yep. Yep.
R.I.P. Penhorn Mall, the greatest place on earth.
Oh, yes. Yep.
Yeah, so I'm right there with you.
I love that, Adam.
Yeah.
Would you ever do another, like not like a sequel, but like, would you ever do another movie based on those types of
I would love to.
concepts?
It's like, it's so tricky with locations to get places like that. Like the mall we worked with was so amazing and like really accommodating for us and just gave us so much access that like, even with money, we didn't have a lot of money, and they were just really accommodating. They wanted to help. They wanted to do it with us. They were excited about the project. And because the film was about kind of like my reverence for those spaces. So like, it's kind of nice to like have this little homage to these places that are kind of dying out and, this workforce that's kind of being displaced. And
especially now.
Yeah. And it was funny. It is.
No, I love that.
It is a comedy.
Like your comedy love letter.
But that's my comedy.
It's like a comedy love letter.
100%. Oh, 100% it was. Yeah.
Okay. So on that same train though, like, I have a soft spot, maybe you do too, for carnivals and fairs. Love a fair.
I love a fair. I love like a church fair.
Yeah.
Like, like the little games and stuff.
Little farm animals everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's something I just love, like a really nitty gritty. Like I love a Ferris wheel that's like put together with duct tape.
Yeah.
Love it.
I've definitely considered working for the carnival.
Have you?
Yeah. I mean, not in any real way. I don't think I'd take to the lifestyle, unfortunately. But I think I do a really good job. I think I'd be really good at it.
You would be. So this is so funny that you say this. I'm going to send you an image later tonight.
I can't wait.
I came up with this idea for like a movie or a show or something called like Comedy Town or something, where it's comedians working at a fair.
That's heaven.
And I actually cast
Yeah.
people in Halifax comedy.
Yeah.
Back at the time. As certain characters in this fair, like someone's the cranky carny who's operating the tilt-a-whirl, and someone's the skeezy business guy who's like, I fucking love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love coming up with ideas like that. But I see you as like the very enthusiastic, like ride operator. That's just like stoked about everyone who comes in. Yeah, we're gonna have fun. Let's go. Pumping everyone up.
Yeah, I mean, it's so experiential and it costs a lot of money. So you want to give them a good time. You want to give them a good show.
Yes.
And you have a captive audience. They're strapped into a machine they can't get out of. So
my kind of crowd.
Maybe I'd like put a little mic on one of the little things on the ride and just get there and do 10 minutes while they're spinning around,
That's so fucking funny.
Yeah.
That would be hilarious, especially like something like the Gravitron, where it makes people laugh anyway. Yeah. Because that feeling in your stomach. Mm-hmm. Ooh. So my other assumptions, I think we kind of might have hit on them already. So you've already debunked them. But I was gonna say that I saw you as either a like super early morning person or a super late night person, no in between.
Yeah.
So you said that you're not really a morning person. You're more in the late night.
Yeah, I'm like I'm an aspirational morning person, but I don't think I'll ever get there.
What time we getting up if we're sleeping with no alarm?
I usually hit around 10 a.m. That's a
good time.
Yeah, it's like, it feels like there's still some of the morning, so I don't feel like so bad on myself, but I've also I've woken up naturally to the sun.
Yeah.
That's how we're meant to wake up. I'm not meant to make up by, a little vibration on wood. It's not for me. I've worked early jobs. I used to work at a hospital where we had to go and wake people up at 7 a.m. and I'm like, they just live. Why do I have to wake them up? Why am I getting up at 4 to drive here to wake them up at 7 when they can't leave the facility?
Absolutely. Why aren't we sleeping until the max time that we can sleep?
And I mean, I understand that there's the consequences mental health wise around too much sleep, maybe. But everyone's different, and I don't know. I love the night. I love the quiet. I love the stillness. I love feeling like I have some space because in the daytime in the city, especially lately, the city's been so busy.
Yeah.
That it feels kind of claustrophobic.
Do you have a favorite hour of the day?
Oh, that's a great question.
I always think about that because I hit energy peaks.
Yeah.
Like 6 to 8 is rough for me.
Yeah.
But if I make it to 8, I'll be fine.
Yeah. Kind of similar.
I really like a 10, 11
p.m.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then I also love a fucking 1 to 2 a.m. I'm pretty wired.
Yeah.
From 10. Like I truly could go to bed at 2 a.m. every night.
Yeah. Oh, I definitely could too. If I have nowhere to be, that is kind of my rhythm.
Yeah, same.
Good. Yeah,
Thank God.
I love 9:30 p.m. because I can look at the clock and be like, I can have 4.5 hours ahead of me.
Yes.
Of puttering around, watching a little thing.
So here we go, fucking morning people who make us feel bad for this.
Yeah.
Because you guys always say, I love waking up early because I have the whole day.
Yeah.
So do we.
We got the whole night.
It's just different fucking hours.
Yeah.
And do you want to know what? Our hours are better.
They're better.
Because there's less people bugging us.
And there's shows that happen. You can go to a thing. Something fun's gonna happen.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's also within kind of the nature of people who are attracted to comedy to maybe be night people. Because I feel like if you're too well adjusted and if you're a morning person, I feel like you're not seeing the world in a funny way. You're just like, well, it's the morning. I'm supposed to be up in the morning.
Yeah,
That's when I get up.
Yeah, it's all obligation.
Yeah.
I also don't get the people who say I can't sleep in. I've never understood.
I don't think
that.
No.
I've never understood that at all.
No.
I don't.
Have you tried? It's not that hard.
Oh, dude, I could easily sleep till 11 or 12.
Yeah.
Any given day.
Yeah.
I truly mean this when I say I do not have a circadian rhythm.
Yeah. I don't even know what that means.
I went to a sleep therapist and he told me, you need to get one.
Yeah.
So you need to try to get one. And I was like, and I still haven't done the homework, which is essentially taking 2 weeks. And there's like this whole thing you have to do to get into a natural rhythm.
Yeah.
Although I was impressed with the sleep therapist. He did not shame me for being a late night person.
Right.
He said, everyone's fucking different.
Yeah.
So
I kind of don't, like, I could never imagine myself being in a rhythm that is predictable every day.
Me neither.
That is like, I got shit to do. I got stuff going on. And that's my priority.
Yep.
You know, like I got shows to do. I got people to make laugh. I'm busy.
Yep.
You know, I sleep when I get and I'm also like, I'm on the verge of sleeping at all times. So I'm really getting into this like old man thing of like,
That is the best
you know,
statement I've ever heard in my entire fucking life.
I got my little recliner. I sit in that for 5 minutes. I get a nice little 80% sleep. You know?
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Because it's this weird thing when you're an exhausted person, you can have energy. Right now, we're both pretty high
Yeah,
energy.
yeah.
We could both probably pass out in a couple minutes.
If I laid down, I'm not joking. You could leave the lights on and I would be asleep in probably under 10 minutes. I'd be asleep.
That's so fucking funny.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, well, that's what, you know, you burnt out and exhausted and that's where you are. But I am the burnout. I'm becoming the burnout.
Oh.
And I'm learning
Preach, sister.
I'm learning to like live with it and find ways to like maximize its potential.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I feel that.
Yeah.
I really do feel that. Oh, okay. So one last assumption.
Love it.
So my assumption was that you're a fairly healthy eater. So I my impression of you is that
Yeah.
you're not someone who doesn't indulge.
Right.
But I don't see you as someone who is like a super trashy eater like I am, where it's like fast food all the time.
Yeah. I'm a pretty trashy eater.
Are you? Okay, so I got it
Yeah.
fucking wrong. Let's talk about it. So you are a pretty trashy eater.
Yeah.
What do you go for when you're like in the I'm craving some emotional eating comfort food?
Well, it just depends if I can get in a car that works.
Yeah.
Because it varies.
Yeah.
I have been eating more healthily lately because I just don't have a car, so I'm not driving through drive-thrus.
So you are a fast food guy.
I love and will always be a fast food person.
So you are one of me. I should have never doubted that.
Yeah, I do love it. I'm so excited to say the word McDonald's. Like my default is a McDonald's. I do love to change it up with a Wendy's.
Yes, Wendy's.
But I like anything. I'm really pretty easy to please when it comes to a fast food indulge. It's just they perfected food. I don't know what's the big deal? They did it right. I'm gonna eat it.
Consistent, reliable, delicious.
Yeah. And I don't feel that bad. And like
Me
when I'm at home, I
either.
like eat okay. But I eat within my own capacity. You know what I mean? I try not to beat myself up about it.
Yeah, that's a great point.
You know, because like I don't have the energy or interest to spend an hour and a half cooking quinoa
Yeah.
every night.
Yep,
I'm
yep,
not
yep,
going to
yep.
do it.
Yep.
I found these great little flatbreads at the superstore. They're cheap and pretty delicious. I'll throw those in the oven.
You make a little flatbread pizza sitch?
It's already done. It's pre-done. This,
Okay, wait, what?
yeah, I found them, and I'm a little evangelical about these things because
What the fuck?
they're cheap and delicious.
Oh wait, are they the flatbreads in the frozen food section? Yeah,
they are.
Oh
Yes, they
yeah,
are.
I've had the caramelized onion and chicken, or there's one that's like caramelized
Oh,
onion
nice.
and chicken and bacon or something like that.
The mushroom one is delicious.
Yummy, 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 yummy.
There's one that has like pierogies and onions. It's kind of, or not pierogies. It has it's kind of like a riff on pierogies. It's like potato and onion.
Oh,
Like
okay.
a cream sauce. It is really good. And I just like, it is what it is. When I'm feeling up for it, I'll make some nice homemade stuff. I spent, a nice afternoon the other day making a beautiful chowder. Because I wanted a down-home
bless you.
chowder. I wanted a down-home moment.
God,
The city's been feeling so not homey lately.
that sounds fucking delicious.
It was So nice.
And then are you someone who like do you package your food up and like eat it for the rest of the week kind of thing?
I package it up. I package it up for sure. I package it up.
Ding that bell! There's so much soup in my fridge that I haven't eaten.
Yeah, I mean, I was really proud of myself with this chowder because I did eat it all.
Good.
Which is honestly the first time I've ever made anything in volume that I've finished.
Good for you.
I'm not a fussy eater, but I don't like eating the same thing over and over again.
Thank you. Same.
I don't know what it is about my brain that doesn't like it, but it doesn't like it. And especially with something like a fish chowder, like I'm really feeling like it, but then I've had it and I'm like, I don't really feel like a big bowl of like a day old fish chowder.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I powered through it. It was still delicious the whole time.
Yeah.
And it was great.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good
but
for
I
you.
often don't. I've been that aspirational person who will like make a crock pot meal.
Yeah. yeah. You eat it
Spend
twice.
like $90 on all the fucking shit you put in it.
That's
I
my
have it
thing.
that day.
Yeah.
I buy like the little containers. I package it all up nicely.
Yeah.
I'm like, look at me. I'm a functional adult. There are still 90% of those in my freezer at home. Most of my freezer is just a graveyard of meals I intended to eat. Because there's pepperoni in the fridge. There's pepperoni in the fridge.
It's so bad.
It's bad.
I'm the same.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm also bad with? Just these two items. I can't escape having multiple of in my fridge.
Mm-hmm.
Yogurt and sour cream.
Oh,
I
yeah.
always
Yeah.
get a new sour cream or yogurt because I
Yeah.
think it's gone bad.
Well, it's in the name.
Yeah.
It's already sour. You know what I mean? It's already promising you that, like, flip a coin on this one. And yeah. But I mean,
Fuck, that's funny.
but at the end of the day, like, at least you tried. At least you bought the fucking sour cream. At least you went to the store and bought the sour cream with the intention of using it. And I often can't do that. So when I can get out of the house and go like plan a meal and buy the groceries, if I only eat that once, it's still a win because everything's a loss if you think about it as a loss.
I love that positive attitude. I've yelled at financial advisors.
Yeah.
So I've had multiple.
Oh my God.
Okay, so here we go. I've had at least 4 over the span of my life, adult life, trying to pay off debt and trying to do what I can to get this fucking debt out of my life.
Yeah.
And every single session with a financial advisor just becomes about budgeting. And it's in their, I swear to fucking God, it's in their contract to go, you just don't buy coffee every day. And then you'll save a little money. And you cook your food at home. And I go, you don't understand.
Anything.
Everything you just said,
Yeah.
the spending $90
Yeah.
and then not eating all of it. Maybe it's a little worse now because everything is way pricier. But to me, for me to buy, say, a $15 takeout meal and get 2 to 3 meals out of it, far more convenient for me than spending $90 and getting like 2.
Yeah.
And I've had full on arguments, like passionate, on the verge of tears, telling these people, you don't understand how neurodivergent people are.
Yeah,
if I don't see it in my fridge, I don't think it exists. I'm not going to eat it.
Yeah.
I throw out so much food.
There's also something to be said for like the fact that we have interesting lives. You know what I mean? I
Thank
don't got time.
you. Thank you.
We actually have dynamic, interesting lives where I'm not meal prep. I'm not thinking about meal prep. I'm thinking about a joke. I'm thinking about a show. I'm thinking about this. I'm thinking about something more to me meaningful than what lunch looks like.
Thank you.
You know, like I understand that it's financially better for me to not buy my lunch all the time.
We get it.
And I do my best, but like, I don't know, at the end of the day, we're just trying to make it through this day.
I had a financial advisor go, well, maybe you should think about cutting back on those things.
Yeah. Maybe you think
Maybe go fuck yourself, Diane.
I don't know. And it's like, I have a hard time with financial planning.
Yeah.
Because I fundamentally don't believe there will be an Earth in like 15 years. And it's hard to create. I have such like dissonance in my mind about that. You know,
Fair.
like I'm like, why am I planning? I'll figure that out if in 15 years there was still an Earth and I'm still presently walking on it. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out.
Well, that's just it. When you die, your debt dies.
Well, there you go.
Isn't that wild?
Cheers to that.
Isn't that wild? And so what are we doing? I mean, my whole thing is it would be nice to... My goals right now are I want a nicer place. I want more space.
Yeah.
I'm a simple gal. I just want a 2-bedroom apartment. Yeah. I don't have to have a house. My other thing is like I'd love to travel sometime. That's really my only motivation to pay off debt are those two things.
Oh, totally.
The idea of being able to just take a trip sometime.
Yeah.
Because I certainly can't do that right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking about, I don't know why I was thinking about, I was kind of thinking about maybe taking a trip because I basically don't travel.
Yeah.
And I was like, how long in my entire life have I not been in the Maritimes? Like physically. Oh. And I think at the most, it's like 6 months.
Really?
That I haven't been physically within the Maritimes.
Really?
And the
total? Like accumulate?
Total.
Oh, really?
Like out of all the trips I've taken, out of all the vacations, out of all the everything. But and most of that was I worked a summer in Maine. So it's the Maritimes.
Oh, holy shit. Yeah, it's the Maritimes in the States.
And I was for work. So
where were you working?
I worked for the Cat, which was
cool.
the boat that went between Yarmouth and Maine.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was like I worked for Nova Scotia Tourism.
Yeah, neat.
And it was basically just like I was stationed in Maine to basically tell people in Maine about Nova Scotia. So I spent my summer doing that. Cool. But then other than that, like I've gone to Toronto 3 times. I've gone to New York 3 times. Mm-hmm. That's it.
Do you really want to travel? Or are you just thinking of doing it because you think it's something you should do?
A little bit of both. I'm not like inclined to travel. I'm not that interested in travel.
It stresses me out
It's
so much.
stressful. Like, and to me, if I'm traveling somewhere, I just want to basically go and drink coffee there. That's what a vacation is to me. That's why I travel to New York and I travel to Toronto, because there's comedy and there's coffee and it's relatively close to where I am.
You're not doing like the crazy tourist stuff. You're
No.
not going on. You just want to be in a city and you just want to experience the city as a civilian.
Yeah, I want to relax. People who travel.
What's that?
I'm getting better at it. And because I'm forcing myself to just like learn how to like vibe and just like be a chill person, which isn't necessarily what people think about me, but it's my aspiration. Yeah, so like I would like to maybe take a trip. I'd love to go to Iceland.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's close enough, but it's like very different and interesting.
Yeah, that would be a cool one to go to and fairly cheap.
Yeah,
I think it's pricey once you get there, but like the flights are cheap.
Yeah, exactly.
So I love that for you. I think you should. Would you travel alone or would you bring a friend?
I would do either.
Yeah.
I've done both.
You've done both, yeah.
Yeah, I like traveling with someone who knows where we're going.
Yeah, that's always really
nice.
Because
I like to have like the kind of inside scoop of like what is actually good and interesting.
Yeah.
But also the kind of like I don't have to worry about the airport. They know the airport.
Love that.
You know, I don't have to figure this shit out. I can just like kind of glob onto this person, enjoy my Adavan, walk amongst the airport.
I always think about that when I think about solo trips because I'm like, I love the idea of a solo trip, but it's the airport stuff that deters me.
Yeah.
Because the only solo trip I've ever taken where I flew somewhere alone was to Newfoundland, tiny airport. It was so easy.
Right. Yeah,
but like if we're going to a bigger city, that's going to be overwhelming.
Yeah,
Pearson?
Well, yeah, and traveling out of the country, that's like a whole other thing. I'm like, I'm kind of a confrontational person. in only really in instances of authority that I don't think is legitimate. And so like when I'm in the airport and I'm getting a hard time by some fucking moron who just is like cranky and like wants to like ruin all my stuff, I get real mouthy about it. Yeah. Which I don't usually do, but I'm like, I don't know this person. I'm like, and they're giving me a hard time. It's 2 a.m. And I don't know. So I just stay away from it.
You want to avoid it. Yeah, that's fair. That's fucking fair.
I also like when someone else pays for it. I love a work trip.
Ooh.
You know, I used to do work trips.
You know what I love? An all-inclusive trip.
I think honestly, if I go anywhere, that's going to be the gig.
That's a more stress-free route to
Yeah.
travel.
Yeah.
For sure.
I also
Everything
just like
is
want to
there.
relax on a beach.
Yes.
Drink
and
a
it's-
drink.
And it's I will always recommend Mexico to people because I've gone there twice and all inclusive both times. It is fucking paradise. It
Yeah.
is so nice.
I think that's
Great
where I'll end
food,
up
too.
eventually.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
You should. If you ever think about going, I'll send you some recs.
Oh my God. That's
Some
what I
rats.
need. I don't like figuring things out myself because I never find the right thing.
No, me neither.
No.
I also like going to cities where I have a friend living there.
Totally.
That's a good thing to do
Yeah.
too. All right, holy shit, Adam. Okay, hour 36. Let's speed through these segments. But that's a sign of a good conversation. You know,
I agree.
that's the sign. I love how we started this by saying we both like structure.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get negative. I love that you're a pessimist because this won't be hard for you. Do you have a rant?
I do. I had written in a couple because I wasn't sure.
Let's go through them.
I tend to be a kind of a ranty person, and it's something about my personality that I'm trying to curb somewhat. But at the same time,
Don't
it's
curb
part
it,
of
baby.
it's part of the brand. I can't really get rid of it that much.
Let it out here. It's welcome here.
I think the first thing that has been like, especially lately, kind of driving me nuts.
Yeah.
Here's what it is. It's when boomers, great start to a rant, give our generation a hard time about being like a participation medal generation.
Oh yeah.
When they're the ones that invented it. There wasn't a committee of 8-year-olds who got together with the T-ball league and we all sat around a table and decided, you know what we're going to do? We're all going to get a medal because we all want to feel special. They decided to do that. They decided to make me feel special. Now you're reaping the consequences of it. And I'm sorry. This is your fault. You did this.
Yeah, no, that's true. Do you find that boomer I don't really know what boomers are saying. Do they
That's the best place to be. And if I were you, I would stay there.
I mean like only my mother on Facebook Messenger.
Is that not enough?
Oh, it's enough. As you were talking, I was like,
Yeah.
Something I hate boomers do is they always use like those avatars in their pictures. Those like cartoon avatars.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah.
And it's like
Show me your face. I want to see your face. Yeah. I want to see who I'm arguing with. I'm not arguing on social media.
they
I gave
love
up a long time ago.
emojis of themselves.
Yeah.
That's something I don't get about them. But yeah, the participation medal thing, I don't really get it.
Yeah. I just.
What's
and
the
I mean,
big fucking deal? Calm the fuck down.
Yeah. Oh, I don't like to generalize too. I mean, sitting here generalizing, but, and I understand it's not everybody, but I think there's like a certain reaction to people our age having like any self-esteem whatsoever.
Oh yeah.
And that being a product of like feeling some degree of self-worth.
Yeah.
Yet when you're younger. And I mean, I get it, you know.
Yeah.
You feel resentful towards folks who are younger and feel better about themselves.
Have a better life than you did.
Have a better life than you did. But that's life, baby. That's how it is.
Yeah. Either get on or get off.
Get on or get off. And like, don't blame me for the thing you're doing.
Yeah.
Which is like, I don't know, generationally, something I've kind of noticed is like, there's not a lot of shared responsibility amongst older folks. People are just like, you did this. You're the one.
They also don't really learn about the state of affairs.
Yeah. Well, especially when you have conversations about like rent or like what things cost these days. And I'm like, yeah, it is awful and it is brutal and it does suck and it's the world I live in. I don't know what, I can't get that. I'm not going to be that upset about it because it's just the hand that the world was dealt currently.
Exactly.
Like, you know, like, yeah, things should be better. We should have better service. We should have whatever. People should also be paid more. Absolutely. If I'm paid more, I provide better service. If I'm not paid well, I'm not providing good service for no money. I'm sorry, life is short, and I gave a lot of my time away for minimum wage, and I'm not doing it anymore.
And that is like what we're fucking like. I hate where we're at right now, but it's kind of also oddly exciting in a fucked up way because I think like COVID and you know people getting CERB and then realizing that their life wasn't sustainable before that.
Yeah.
I'm kind of excited for like this resurgence of like workers who are like quitting their jobs and not settling.
And know their worth.
I know their worth now. Even though it fucking sucks. I'm like, you're going to have to go through like pain and broke times to like get here. But I'm also just like, in a way, kind of glad it's happening. And maybe, I don't know, but maybe companies will start smartening up and be better. Maybe. Even as I'm saying that, I'm like, that's not going to happen. But
but it's baby steps, right? It's like it takes time, and like labor movements are so varied, they're so dynamic, and like it's interesting to see people like just be like, I can just buy less shit, and then I need less money, and then I have more choice about where I work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yep.
I would, and I'm not saying I'm not a consumer. I'm a big time consumer. I love to buy things.
That was another assumption I had.
Yeah.
I was going to say that you're good with money.
I'm fine with money.
Oh, I love this. Okay.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
But I'm not someone who's like penny pinching. I'm not someone like, if someone owes me $20, I'm never going to remind you. And I'm going to let it go, and it's not going to bother me. That's life.
Interesting.
Like, and if there's like a little thing that would make my life, enrich my life, I'm a big treat guy.
Yes.
I'm a big
treat
treat
yourself.
guy. I love to treat myself.
Within
yourself. Reason.
Yeah.
But if I'm at Walmart, for example, our favorite place, if I'm at Walmart to get a few groceries, I'll take a lap down the Lego aisle.
Hell yeah.
Maybe I'll get a little $10 set. That's fun. I don't even really care for it.
It's joy in this garbage world.
It just gives me a moment of like, oh, this is like a fun, silly thing that I can afford. And I shouldn't buy it. But you know what? I shouldn't do a lot of things that I do.
Exactly. But it's little joys.
Yeah.
Little joys.
Yeah.
I always tell people when they're grieving, because grief is, I don't know if you've ever lost someone.
Yeah.
But it's
definitely
like inconsolable pain, and like you're just like every day is just garbage.
Yeah.
But I always tell people who are grieving, I was like, just try to like every day do one little thing.
Yeah.
Or like treat yourself to one little thing that just makes you feel happy, even for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Whether that's like an ice cream cone.
Yeah.
Or like it can be the smallest thing, but just try.
Yeah.
Because like the little joys are there.
Yeah.
Just gotta take a trip down the Lego aisle.
100%. Yeah, that's kind of
life.
Well, this is kind of where I'm trying to be.
Yes.
I'm just trying to be kinder to myself. It's not my instinct, and I'm trying to learn how to do that and see what that looks like.
I'm here for you for this.
And it takes time.
Yeah.
But we get there eventually.
And you have to be patient with yourself.
Yeah. But I've noticed I feel better. Like and it's, small, it's incremental.
Yeah.
But it is the train's moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
So that's
I
all you can do.
love that for you.
Yeah. I love it for me too.
Any other rants?
Yes. Two. They're very short.
Here we go.
First one. When I'm scrolling social media, I'm looking at videos.
Oh, here we go.
And at the top of the video, it says, wait for it. I immediately scroll. Dear honey, I've been watching videos for 33 years. I know how videos work. If you're telling me to wait for it, this video is not worth waiting for. If you aren't capturing my attention.
Yep. With your skull.
Bye-bye. So that's a micro rant.
You snooze, you lose.
You snooze, you lose. And my other micro rant, it might be as a little contradictory to my earlier rant, but that's the person that I am. Who's buying Ferrero Rochers? In this climate, in this economy, people are buying Ferrero Rochers. Are there billionaires at Walmart? Is there a billionaire doing his own groceries? And I say his purely because I dislike men.
Yes, and they're the ones who are, yeah,
Ferrero Rochers. I'm like, hey, you know what? You feel your fantasy, you get yourself your treat, whatever you want your treat to be. But a Ferrero Rocher just feels deeply classist to me.
It's wrapped in gold.
It's wrapped in gold. It has a sticker on top. And I'm in the same vein, big on adornment.
Yes.
So
yeah.
I kind of understand it.
But it's the stuck-up version.
And it's not very tasty. I don't care for them.
Fair. And I just realized now that you're saying that, I have not had one this past Christmas.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. They only survive on Christmas.
Yeah.
How do these candies exist?
What the fuck? That's actually a great point.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I appreciate in Christmas chocolate is a toffee. It's just there. It's not wrapped in anything. It just is what it is.
The toffee is the candy of the people.
That's nice.
It's the labor movement candy. It's in a tray, easy to access.
It's not overly pricey.
Beautiful little slidey box, not overly pricey.
Accessible.
Deeply accessible, both financially and physically.
Yep.
And so delicious.
So delicious.
So delicious.
And it's the combination of textures in it.
Yeah.
You got your crunchy.
It's perfection.
You got your chewy.
Yeah.
And you got your smooth.
I know what I'm getting you for Christmas.
I love. Is it toffee or toffee?
Tofife?
Yeah. How do we pronounce it? Toffee?
I pronounce it Now I'm fucking with my own
Having
head.
a stroke.
I pronounce it toffee.
Toffee.
I guess that's how I pronounce it because that's how my mouth made it sound.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to clip this. This is an Instagram poll. Listeners, is it toffee, which is what I say, versus toffee?
Toffee.
Send us a voice memo as
couldn't
to
tell
how
you.
you pronounce this candy.
And how badly I'm pronouncing it.
Yeah.
Because I need to be taking down a couple pegs.
Yeah, that's no one knows. Maybe it's on Google.
Yeah, this whole self-esteem thing is like it's going too far. I'm flagrantly out here with my self-worth, saying things wrong.
This podcast is gonna take it down, and
I mean that's what I needed.
I love
So I
that so
appreciate
much.
that.
Oh my god, I love that so much.
So that's my rants.
All right, I love your rants. I love the mixture of rants you give.
Mm-hmm.
They're fucking phenomenal. Okay, so we've kind of talked a lot about different things, so maybe this might go hand in hand. But
Mm-hmm.
Adam, what's wrong with you? And when I say this to comics, I like to preface it by saying, "What's wrong with you right now?"
Yeah.
Because it could have changed. I think at the live show we were talking
Yeah.
internalized homophobia.
Yeah. It's something I definitely think a lot about.
Yeah.
Because to me, when I'm thinking about like internalized homophobia as a queer person, I'm really thinking about what my fear of who I am and myself keeps me from doing.
Yeah.
And it has been the number one barrier for me for the things I'm like the most interested in doing.
Right.
And or like or fully doing the things I love in the way that I really want to do them.
Yeah.
And for example, like doing drag, like I've wanted to do drag for a very long time. And I think especially right now in today's world, drag is such a touchy thing.
Yeah.
And but to me, it's like such a magical way to like play with so many different art forms and like to a vehicle for comedy and for all of these things that I love. But the barrier to that is just my own shit in my head about like how people think about me and like perception of myself and that kind of like thinking that the things I want to do and the person I want to be is somehow like a bad thing.
Oh, right.
And I think we just like I think a lot of people like we just kind of think that like once you're at a certain point in your like queerness, your outness or whatever that is, you don't have those feelings anymore, but I do myself.
Good. Yeah. Thanks for being honest about that. That's a great point.
Oh, totally.
That's a great point. Because we're kind of in this weird toxic positivity culture right now.
Yeah. Oh, totally. And which I, could not, I do not prescribe to.
No.
And I don't know. Like I have such a weird relationship with queerness and like being a queer person because of, just geographically where we are and and how you grow up in those areas and and how people treat other people who are like people you look up to.
Yeah.
And how they talk about those people. And I remember people, when I was a kid, I remember hearing things, in the world. But like Elton John, for example, like people always like saying kind of nasty things about him as a performer. He was one of my favorite musicians when I was a kid. So it's kind of like this weird dissonance between like my complete adoration for these folks and seeing that kind of backlash. And I think especially these days, that backlash is like so ever present and basically just like being a queer person is in itself offensive to I think not a huge,
a psychotic group of people.
but this is the thing. It's not a huge group, but it's a very loud group. And I see things happening in the Maritimes. Like I saw recently there was going to be a drag queen story hour that had to be canceled. I think it was in PEI. They canceled it out of safety concerns. And I was like, that is so fucked up.
That's so fucked up.
It's
We're
so
going
fucked up.
backwards.
Oh, 100%. And like, I think that there's a degree to which that is kind of how progress happens. Like, you make progress, and the people that are against the progress eventually are like, that's enough. You've had enough.
Yeah.
But I think that's where we're at right now. So we're not in this like, when I was first coming out, I was like, being queer is great. Everyone like loves queer people. And like, I really had a different perspective on it than I do now.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to not let that fear lead my life because that fear has led my life my entire, and it still leads it a lot of the time. But I'm really trying to at least acknowledge that.
But you seem to be getting out of that.
Yeah, well, even just like admitting to doing what you want to do.
Yeah,
is like a big thing. Like even putting that out into the world to be like, this is something I'm interested in. Like I'd love to chat with folks that do it and like make relationships.
You're being accountable to yourself.
This is the thing. Like if I say I'll want to do something, if I say I'm going to do something, I'm pretty reliable. I will do it.
Yes.
But if I don't externalize it, I just kind of hang on to it and just kind of, dream about it. But it's like life is fucking short and I'm not getting any younger. And especially when I think about doing drag, I'm like, drag is a young person's game a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And so it's like, that's intimidating too. But I'm kind of just like, this is the year that I want to dip into that somehow. I'm still kind of figuring out exactly how I want to do that. But that I'm trying not to let fear lead my life.
But also baby steps. You don't have to. You don't have to all of a sudden take this massive step into drag.
Yeah.
If you just take some baby steps, every week or every month towards getting there, you're doing it. You know. Obviously, I'm all about accountability and like holding yourself accountable and saying that I'm going to do. But it's fucking hard.
Yeah.
It's fucking hard. But like, is that your number one, or do you have other things that you want to work towards?
I think that's kind of the thing that
your heart's being called to that.
Yeah, like it's the thing, because it's not that I don't want to do stand up. Stand up is like it's the thing that makes my heart beat. Like I love stand up more. I can't think of anything I love stand up more than, or the other way around.
Yeah.
But it's going back to, we were talking about like the improv and the kind of like the visual presentation of comedy. I think there's so much fun silliness to play with using those elements and bringing drag into that and bringing like costuming and those kind of aspects into my performance.
Yes.
And I kind of want to be a little less like a black t-shirt, black jeans comedian, which is who I am and who I've been, and is a classic. And I will never give it up. I'm not going to always do drag for performing, but it's something I want to start integrating into my performance because I think it's fun and silly, and I want to be fun and silly.
And thank you for saying that you don't want to be the jean and t-shirt.
Yeah.
Because this is something I struggle with as a woman, is wanting to dress like a pop star.
Yeah. 100%.
And be funny on stage.
Yeah.
But not have that distract from being funny.
Right.
I'm on a journey with stand up. I'm trying to get back to loving it like you do.
We're all on a journey with it.
Right?
That's doing stand up.
I have a very complicated relationship with it, just in the way that I started.
Yeah.
Like my journey into it. But one of my favorite memories of stand up was actually at a mixed medium show, which was drag, burlesque, and stand up.
Yeah.
And because I was part of the stand up portion, I dressed. I had a high pony, fucking sequin bodysuit. It was one of the most fun times I've ever had at a show because, number one, the crowd was fucking amazing because they were there for all of the mediums. They loved everything.
Yeah.
They appreciated every single performer. And I was able to be that alter ego me.
Yeah.
Like, and it felt like a form of drag in a way because I was like a hyper
100%
feminized version of myself.
Yeah.
And I think it's just such a beautiful thing when someone just embraces exactly how they want to look.
Yeah.
Versus like as a woman, I sometimes feel I have to dress down.
To
like almost masculinize myself.
Totally.
And stand up so that people I'm more relatable to people.
Yeah.
And it's just it can be complicated.
Well, it's about like feeling like being treated like as a legitimate comedian,
Comedian, yeah.
especially when you're someone that does more than one thing.
Yeah.
I think people sometimes see that as like you're kind of one foot in, one foot out. But
Yeah.
to me, it's more about like finding different things that I can bring into performance, bring into that venue to like make the audience have an even better time.
Yeah.
And like building and building and building and just like making it huge and enormous and fun and like a spectacle. Because that's, to me, like, I love the spotlight. It's just like the glitter and the glitz and the glamour of the whole thing. It's wonderful, and it's so opposite to like how I often feel and think. Like
That's a very interesting. Yeah. Actually, because you're very introverted and homebody and like chill. Like, but then there's this other version of you that's electric on stage.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fascinating.
And like finding a way to like integrate all of those versions of myself into like the pinnacle of who I am as a performer, who I am as an artist, who I am as a comedian, who I am as just a person.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to like really suss out, because I'm really tired of trying to be someone I'm not. I'm tired of trying to be what other folks think I should be as a performer, as a comedian, as a whatever. I'm just trying to do what makes me laugh.
Yeah.
And that journey has been so fun because I'm enjoying it and I'm like having a fun time. And at the end of the day, even if the show doesn't go well, I had a great time. So who cares?
Being truly authentic.
Yeah. Or at least trying to.
Because so many people mimic another performer when they're performing.
Yeah.
And I think that's every performer's, goal at the end of the day is to get true to yourself.
Yeah.
In your art. You know what I can see you doing? Like a one-man show.
Yeah. I love a one-man show.
Like where you can incorporate all those things.
Yeah. I've done a few one-man shows for Fringe. It was one of the ways that I was like kind of getting into the performance rhythm. I did I wrote 2 Fringe shows by myself, and I did one with 2 of my friends.
Fun.
And it was like, those things are like some of the best times because you also have deadlines, you have timelines, you have responsibilities to meet, and you have to get the product done, and you have to be performing it.
Love that.
And it's
motivation.
100%. And it's honestly the way to go. My plan, I haven't quite figured it out, but I'm in the process of like, I would like to record a comedy album. I've never done it.
Oh, Adam, yes, please do it.
And I feel like I'm at a point where like I have the material to produce a little silly thing. And so what my goal is to probably for this coming Fringe festival, have a 2-nighter kind of thing where I record an album and it's part of that festival, which is like such a supportive, amazing place. If you haven't looked into Fringe, or if someone hasn't like explored that world, Fringe is whatever you want it to be.
I'm drawn to it for sure.
Yeah.
Because I saw Justin Shaw, a stand-up comic, also did kind of like a one-man show type thing.
Yeah.
And it was fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. You could really do anything.
Yeah.
Anything you dream of, you could bring to this show.
Literally whatever you want.
That's so wild.
It's so weird and fun. Like both of the solo shows I've done are both primarily stand-up, but kind of integrate, like it was partially stand-up, partially like, storytelling and costumes and stuff. I did one called Stood Up, where I was like stood up on a date and I was kind of just like talking about dating, and that was like back in 2016.
I love that.
And I did one that was called Touched by Too Many Angels.
Yeah.
And that was that was again
name.
A lot of stand-up and a lot of just like about my relationship with religion and that kind of stuff. And it's fun to kind of pick an angle, because with Fringe you're often like writing right up till the Fringe is happening.
Oh my God.
Because it can be work in progress, right?
That's wild.
And I think anybody who has any interest in like formalizing your performance, or like kind of crystallizing who you are as your own self as a performer, Fringe is such a great opportunity because it has such a low entry barrier to entry. Like it's an unjuried festival, right? So if you apply and there's room, basically you get in.
No way.
And you pay a little fee for your rental of the space, but you have a built-in audience. You have other Fringe artists who can come to your show for free. It's just so great, and you can make a little cash. It's such a great opportunity. Anybody who's even remotely interested should look into it, because the applications are right now.
No way.
Yeah, for this coming Fringe. So
is there a deadline on that?
Yeah, I think it's maybe the end of March.
Fuck.
Ish. But the thing with the application is it's just about like the idea for the show, right? It can be a work in progress, so you don't have to have the full thing done. You just have to kind of explain what it's going to look like, how long you're going to need, what kind of venue you want, and you can do it. And I just love Halifax Fringe. It's such a great group of volunteers and people that run it. It's such a positive experience. I've always adored it. And it gives you a touring opportunity because there's Fringe festivals across the country.
Wow.
So you can apply to those.
Wow.
And you can get into those and you can get exposure and you can start getting yourself out there in a different way than like having to be on open mics, which is great and a type of exposure and practice.
I love this though, because this is a way for someone to be a literal self-starter.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like I gave myself those deadlines. I submitted and I applied and I got in and I was like, well, I got to have a play.
God, I love that. Are you doing something this year? Months.
Yeah, I think this is just going to be the comedy album.
Oh my God, that's so exciting.
Yeah.
Please let me know if I can help with that in any way.
I will absolutely hit you up with that.
Because, I need to say that, like, I love when a stand-up comic has other avenues of passion.
Yeah.
Because I do feel like this plain and simple art of stand-up is a leaky basket to put your eggs. And I think you got to have other little pockets of joy that fulfill you.
And for, like, live performance.
For live performance,
because I think a lot of comics, like, they'll do, like, digital stuff, which is great.
Yeah.
But to me, there is nothing
like
better
live
than live performance.
Nothing beats it. Nothing beats it. Nothing beats it. Like, I'm a big music gal.
Oh, same.
And, like, I've always wanted to combine music and comedy in some way. I mean, I don't know how that's gonna fucking happen. But listen, if there's any message from this podcast, it's go after that little voice in your head.
Yeah, just try it.
That's telling you to do the thing.
Yeah, because you know, like nothing feels better than finishing your run at like a Fringe festival and being like, I just performed 6 shows. Oh my God. I sold 100 tickets. And I did my little play and it was better every night and some nights were terrible. And like, that's just being an artist. Like I love, and if people have questions about Fringe, I'm happy to like answer questions. People can message me on Instagram.
Yes. Hit him up.
Yeah, please. Cause I just want people, life is short and the world's ending. So follow your dreams.
And and if you have the talent to create, then you should be creating.
Yeah. And you can test stuff out. Like it doesn't have to be perfect. You know, you can have a Fringe festival show that doesn't work that well.
Maybe that's
but it's a good learning experience.
Maybe that's part of the play.
Yeah, 100%.
Is the fuck up.
100%.
Is the fuck up. I love that. Oh
yeah.
Oh, I love this journey that you're on here. We need an update podcast a couple months down the road.
I'd love to.
Okay, final segment. It's the last segment of the show. It's the segment that in 10 years from now. Someone will drudge up a clip, take a note of context, and try to cancel us.
Perfect.
Do you have an unpopular opinion? Don't hate me for this, but it's time for an unpopular opinion.
I did bring one.
This is a controversial segment of mine because people don't really go there.
Yeah.
But let's see what you got, and it's okay if you don't want to go there.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's really there.
Okay.
Because I tend not to. I mean, I feel like I'm not I feel like I'm not that controversial of a person,
and that's fine.
But I have lots of opinions.
Okay, what you got?
And kind of on the similar tangents that we've been on about the world ending and et cetera, et cetera. I don't understand doomsday prepping.
Yeah.
Like I just full stop don't get it. It's not. I think it's ridiculous. Like I understand having like 12 cans of tomato soup in the cupboard. I think that's smart. The power can go out. The grocery store.
That's practical.
It's practical. I've never been a big have a lot of groceries around. I'm starting to be that person.
Yeah.
But there's that, and then there's no. I need to hoard stuff so that I can continue living my life once the world has ended.
In a bunker.
A bunker underground.
Underground.
Trust when I say I'm the first out. I'm done. I don't like this world. I don't like this world.
You're the first out.
Oh, I'm not hanging around. I'm done.
So we were talking about on the 250 live stream about Halifax comedians and how they would do in a zombie apocalypse. And just like if it was a zombie situation, how certain comedians would fare.
Right.
And Kat Robinson runs Beerley's.
Yeah.
Dan was like, Kat would just down a thing of whiskey and end it all.
I mean, I'll be right there.
I was like, that doesn't sound so bad.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not interested. I'm also just not interested in being around people who plan. Like, if you have a real solid, concrete plan for that far in the future, I just don't think you're that interesting.
You're probably not fun.
You're not fun. And my only goal in life at this point is to have fun. And that looks a lot of different ways. But I just don't think I'd have a great time.
Could you have an organized friend that you just kind of tolerate that could maybe be in your life as like someone you could use?
I mean, I think I definitely have friends that would be great in that scenario.
In a zombie apocalypse?
100%. They're very organized. They're very forward thinking. They just feel like a real solid human. But basically, if there's no more stages, what's the point?
Well, could you make a stage though?
Maybe that's my doomsday prepping. It's creating a comedy club underground.
Oh my God, that's an idea. Well, just the idea of like a post-apocalyptic comedy show.
Yeah.
Or like the idea that if comics survived in a post-apocalyptic world, we would still want stage time.
Oh, 100%.
Even though there's no physical stages anywhere. Just the idea that like we could be starving.
Yeah.
No water.
Yeah.
Just run ragged.
Yeah.
And we're like, can I do 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Can I do a quick 5?
I got a great bit about this water filtration system that you're going to love.
Hear me out.
Hear me out about this,
What's the deal with?
What's the deal with canned
goods?
They're all around. Why do I square can would make more it maximizes your shelf space. This isn't a great bit. This isn't the bit I want to tell. I don't know. I kind of don't understand the mentality. Like, I think to me, some people are just obsessed with being alive. Mm-hmm. And I'm real take it or leave it with being alive as a person. I'm enjoying it. I'm doing good, but I'm not like obsessed with it.
Spoken like a true depressed person.
Yeah, like,
I love it.
I'm here for the ride. I'm good. We're all fine. And in the same vein, you got to give me a break from it. Perfect.
Can I ask what's your stance on death? Do you think there's something after this life, or is it nothing?
I don't know if it's nothing. I'm not a religious person. I grew up Catholic, and that is intense.
Yeah, keyword being grew up. Whenever someone says that, they've been on a departure from that.
Yeah, like I don't know. I do think that there are things we don't understand, and I'm looking forward to getting some more information once we're done. Like I think ghosts are real.
Yeah.
For example, whether that's like a ghost of a person or just some kind of thingamajig.
Energy.
You never know. But I've been to haunted. I've been places where I'm like, that's a ghost.
Oh, where?
Yeah. Well, I stayed in an Airbnb. I used to work for a youth organization where my job was to travel the province, Maritimes, mostly Nova Scotia, and do like anti-homophobia, anti-transphobia workshops.
Oh, nice.
And my integration to being a queer person was being like a professional queer person. I'm like,
let me teach you the ways.
Yeah, let me teach you the ways. I have no experience with this whatsoever. I've never touched another man, but I can tell you what the definition of these words are.
Oh.
And so that's what I did. And I traveled a lot doing that job. I was all over the province, and I traveled a lot with a friend of mine who was also kind of doing a similar work. And we were staying in Cape Breton to do a series of workshops for some high schools up there. And we booked this Airbnb, which is just like this house, because it was in a community. There was like just really nothing around. So we booked this B&B, and also we work for a nonprofit, not a lot of money. It's a cheap B&B. And it's a super long story, but basically this was like the home of someone, an elderly person who had just recently passed away, very obviously.
Okay. Not in a
And-
bad way, just old age? Or
No,
do
yeah,
we
just
not-
like
we
an
don't
older
know?
person
Okay,
who died. But the house wasn't changed at all. Like the clothes were still in the house. Like it was kind of a lot.
Oh, I
And
don't know if I like that.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I didn't book it. I would not have booked it. But I
Did you find out after the fact that this person died, or did you know beforehand?
Oh no, we found it when we were there for sure.
Okay.
There was one thing magneted to the fridge was an obituary. Like, are you kidding me? We were trying to creeping ourselves out. We're also like queer people in the country. Like, we're just like default kind of freaked out. But like throughout the night, like creepy things kept happening that I was like, I don't love this, but I'm not a lunatic. So like, this is just fine and weird. One of the things before the thing that really convinced me, I was sitting, there was no internet, there was no phone, there was no anything, no receptions. We couldn't even use our phones. And so I'm sitting there in this rocking chair, this dead woman's rocking chair. And there's a couple things in the little magazine holder next to the chair. No magazines, obviously. Why would you have magazines there? The only thing I could pick up was like this phone book, essentially, like a contact book. It was empty, except for one thing that was crossed out, and it was a priest's name and phone number. And I was like, well, that's a little unsettling. That's not my favorite thing
It was
I've ever
crossed out.
Yeah, it's crossed out. It's not my favorite thing I've ever read. And then the other thing in the magazine holder was just like the diary of the care worker. So it's basically like writing down the last days of this person who was dead. Amazing. Not my thing. So we're getting pretty freaked out. Yeah, of course I read it. Yeah. Freaked me out. It wasn't freaky, but it was just the context was like getting a little much. Here's what terrified the shit out of me. I'm going to be scared to leave. I was laying in bed. I took one of the bedrooms because my coworker, I was supposed to be in another one and I was too freaked out by it. So she said I could have the other one. I went in this bedroom. I was asleep. In this bedroom, there was a dresser with some stuff on top of it. There was a couple picture frames laying flat on the dresser. I had a duffel bag, like one of those Good Life free duffel bags. Uh-huh. I put the duffel bag on top of one of the pictures. I go to bed.
The picture was turned down?
The picture was
face down.
Face up, but laying down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say that's less bad.
Yeah. No, it's face up, laying down. Okay. I put my bag on it very respectfully. Like I wasn't really thinking about it, but I maybe shouldn't have. But I try to be respectful in places. I'm not a slob in someone else's home. Mm-hmm. And so I put my bag there, flat dresser. I go to bed. 40 minutes, an hour later, I'm asleep. And I wake up to a big crash in the room that I'm sleeping in. It's dark, obviously. So I kind of freak out. I turn the lights on, and my bag is on the floor, upside down, with all the shit spilled everywhere.
Nope.
There was no slant to that dresser. And the thing that was like, someone picked this up and threw it, to me, was that the picture that my bag was on was exactly where it was when I put it down. So it didn't slide off, because if it slid off, that picture would be going with it.
Whoa!
So I'm like, okay, so I'm not gonna wake up my
chills.
I'm not gonna wake my coworker up, obviously, because that's gonna make me like a real lunatic. So I wait. I have no phone. There's no internet. There's no nothing. The only thing I had brought with me was The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo, the book.
Stop.
Yeah. So I just sat there and read about throwing away my socks until the sun came up. I closed the book. I put it down. I go sit in the kitchen and I just wait for my coworker. And the second she gets up, I'm like, we got to go today. We were going to stay an extra night because it was going to be a long drive.
Oh my God.
We're like, we're going to do a long drive. Guess what drive we're doing? A long one. Because we're both so fucking freaked out. It was also like next to an abandoned Boy Scout camp. Like it was a nightmare. It was a nightmare. So anyway, long story short is, don't know what happens after death, but I believe in ghosts.
It's something. You're not. Yeah.
There's
okay.
something there. There's something there because that lady was pissed.
What time of night did this happen?
It would have been like 1 a.m.
Oh, so you were really up all night. Mm-hmm. It freaked you out that much.
Oh yeah. Oh, I was you couldn't have paid me to turn the lights off.
I want to go to a haunted place so bad.
I do not. I'm really like.
Would you go with friends?
No. 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 No, I don't mess with that shit. I don't mess with dark-sided stuff. I don't play those games. I don't know what is out there and what is not out there, but I'm not taking a chance.
Oh my God, that's wild.
Because I'm also the person that it'll happen to. Like I'm really like in my mind when I'm like walking through places, I'm very like, I know you're there. I don't want to see you.
Oh, you have a little I don't know what the word is. Like psychic ability in you, maybe a little bit. Well, okay.
Who knows?
But like, listen, like some people do have that naturally.
Yeah.
Because I'm someone who really wants to connect with a ghost or wants to experience things, and it never happens.
Right.
Oh my God, it's just like relationships.
Yeah.
I just put that together. I want to experience a ghost so much, but they don't come to me.
Yeah.
And I want a boyfriend so bad. They don't.
You gotta start rejecting it.
Yeah.
Reject it
I don't
all.
care about you, ghost. Andrew Vaughn, I don't care. I don't care about you.
There you go.
I see you on the wall over there.
There he is. Oh my God, that guy.
Oh, Andrew Vaughn? Tell me.
No, I miss seeing him. I miss seeing his jokes.
Aww.
He had some of my favorite jokes.
Oh my God, I know.
Yeah. They were just like fucking so killer, so well written.
Tight.
So tight, so like just and he was always so, like so sweet to me when I would.
I'm so glad.
I was like
when
doing
you said that, I
shows.
was like, is this a good Andrew Vaughn memory or a bad?
Oh no.
Okay, good. It was good. It was good.
mean, I know people. Everyone's complicated. People are enigmas, but
Yeah.
he was really, really present when I was starting to do stand up, and
Oh, that's really nice.
he like gave me lots of stage time and was always really friendly, and that's not always the case, and like people got busy lives and whatever, so I always just appreciated. I also appreciated like the intelligence in a lot of the things that he would say. Like we're all trying different stuff out. Not everything works. Not everything's perfect, but there was some stuff that was like really, really smart, really, really thoughtful, and really, really funny, which is to me the most important.
You're gonna make me cry again.
Rest in peace.
Rest in hell. No, just joking. Andrew.
Wherever
I
you
love
are, buddy, make the best of it.
Well,
think positively.
That's the guy I want to connect with. I really want to take Dan and Travis to a medium and see if we can connect to Mr. Andrew Vaughn, because he was a well-known atheist.
Right.
He was very, very. I mean, one of the most memorable things on this podcast, my first podcast with Andrew, was I asked him about death, and he told me his stance on essentially just believing that there was nothing. And he told this story, and I can't remember it like word for word, but he was telling the story that he heard about like someone saying like, this is the only dance we dance.
Yeah.
And he like how he thought that was a beautiful like thing, and how he's like, I'm not really afraid of death because like this is the only dance we have. And I keep that clip very close to my heart because I'm like, oh my God, I have that in audio form.
That's so nice.
And he was a guy who always made jokes about dying.
Yeah, and I mean that's
dying young.
Yeah, and people, people do comedy for no reason.
Yeah.
Like we do it to connect with people, we do it to share, we do it to like, feel something at all.
Make other people happy.
To make others happy, like to take a moment of their sadness away.
Yeah, that's so true.
And has been a major thesis in my own comedy and my own work, and I just think it's so special when like people have that mentality and prioritize like making this one count, because like I think there's maybe something, but I know about this one, and I'll figure that one out when I get there. If I get there.
Betty White had a great way of saying it. She said that her mom had always told her, when you die, you get to learn the secret.
Yeah.
It's a secret that you don't know quite yet.
Yeah.
And when you die, you get to know it.
Yeah.
So how cool is that?
I'm becoming a little more patient, believe it or not, to people who know me. And I think that's so special. I think it's like really special that we just can't have everything right now, and we'll get it eventually. Yeah. And just hang on. Yeah. It's going to be quite a journey.
Ooh, what a way to end. We can't, that's the end right there. Oh my God, what a lovely podcast. Adam, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
What a journey. An hour of talk before we get to the segments, but you want to know what, listeners? fuck it. We're going down the Lego aisle, okay?
Yeah.
We're treating ourselves.
We're taking our time.
We're treating ourselves to good conversation. So, oh my God, I'm so glad we made this happen. Because, you definitely deserved a full intoxicated experience.
Well, I appreciate both.
Not in front of a crowd, but obviously we gotta work more together.
I would love that.
And I'm so excited for you. And I want you to tell everyone where they can follow you, keep up to date with what you're doing.
Yeah. So all my stuff is truly Madly Adam.
Such a great fucking username.
Yeah. I really labored over it. I'm very particular about that kind of stuff. And I found that and I was like, that feels so me. Like I was a big Savage Garden child.
I was going to ask if it was at all connected.
It's
okay,
absolutely
good.
A Savage Garden reference. I was a gay child. I've been gay my whole life. And
you came out the womb saying chicken cherry cola.
100. Those were my first words. I wish that was my first words. But yeah, I only use Instagram. But it's at Truly Madly Adam on there. You can also, if you're interested in my building and fabrication, I have an Instagram for that. It's called Shop Class 89.
What the heck? I gotta follow that. Okay.
Please do.
No,
It's where it's all my little weird little art, my kind of art gallery stuff is there. And I have a website that has a lot of the stuff that's on socials and a little bit extra. Just trulymadlyadam.com.
Okay, and you got to help me off the mic with I need a better username, and I can't figure it out, and I've been trying to think about it forever.
Yeah.
We'll have to talk.
It takes time.
It really does, and you picked the perfect one because it sounds good together, and also you have that connection. So that's so cool. Well, what a fucking ride this was! Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited for you, and you get to end the episode with an amazing bell ring.
Oh my God, I can't wait. Here we go.
You can do whatever you want. You can even hold it up if you want to the camera a little bit.
I'm gonna just
Hold it up.
get a little. Move my pencil.
Give yourself the space.
And
he went a single bell ring. Here we go.
a bell needs to be rung not more than once.
Oh shit! That's a quote. Hear that? Multiple bell ringers. There's been a couple of you.
Thank you for listening to the Intoxicated podcast. If you enjoyed this week's episode, make sure you subscribe on whatever podcast app you use and leave a rating or review on Apple Podcasts. You can also give us a follow on Facebook and Instagram at Intoxicated Podcast and check out our video episodes on the Intoxicated YouTube channel. Until next week, feel hard and talk hard. Intoxicated Podcast is hosted and produced by Sarah McClellan and brought to you by the messiness of life.